The diarrhea cases have also risen from our seat position in 2017, and now we are number 3 in the whole of the country. This is according to the District Director of Health in the Shamar district. That as a result of what you are seeing here today, as a result of this Galamsey pollution of River Pra, skin diseases, waterborne diseases like diarrhea are on the rise. In 2016-2017, only 5,000 cases of skin diseases were recorded in the Shamar district. Today, that President Akufo-Addo has wasted over 300 million Ghana cedis of the taxpayers' money on this so-called fight. Today, that Major Mahama has lost his lives, and Ghanaians have been killed, excavators burned in the name of this so-called fight against Galamsey. Skin diseases have doubled in this area. Diarrhea has doubled in this area. The incidence of all these health challenges, all these diseases, have worsened in the last 3 years. And so when we sit in Accra, in the studios of Joy FM, UTV, TV3 and all that, and you hear MPP people telling us that President Akufo-Addo is winning the fight against Galamsey, what they are doing is that they are insulting our intelligence as a people, because the evidence is to the contrary. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the ever worsening ramifications of government's failed fight against Galamsey is ever so lucid and conspicuous today. The countless number of polluted water bodies in several parts of our country, such as River Pra, River Brim, River Ofin, River Nkobra, among others, is enough testament to the fact that Ghanaians have been taken for a ride by President Akufo-Addo, who continues to supervise and promote the escalation of the Galamsey menace. But quite characteristic of this government, even in the face of worsening turbidity of our water bodies, by the day, functionaries of government spokespersons, still claim this government has achieved results relative to the Galamsey fight. What results are they talking about, ladies and gentlemen? What results? Is it the brownish coloration of the River Pra, or the chocolate coloration of River Nkobra? Is that the results they are talking about? This sad reality. And I realize that when we got here, most of you were shocked at the horrifying and harrowing images you saw here. And we know that through your networks, the good people of Ghana will see the truth, the reality, the hardship that the people of this area are going through as a result of the deception of President Akufo-Addo. Water bodies which used to look white under President Mahama are today looking brownish under President Akufo-Addo. And we are not saying that under President Mahama there was zero incidence of Galamsey. No, that is not what we are saying. But when you have a president coming into office, promising change, promising to do better, telling the whole country that he's willing to put his presidency on the line, wasting millions of taxpayers' money on the so-called fight against Galamsey, and yet you have turbidity levels worsening. You have the incidence of Galamsey increasing to alarming proportions. Then that is an issue worth interrogating. And that must become a concern, or must be a concern, for all well-meaning Ghanaians, irrespective of your political affiliation. Because the people in this area are not all NDC people. They are MPP people here. As we speak, there is an MPP district chief executive. The member of parliament is an MPP person. They are MPP leaders in this area. And they are all suffering. They are all going through the debilitating effects of the destruction of this water body, which is being supervised by President Akufo-Addo. Needless to say that a huge financial loss has been occasioned this country through this fraudulent fight against Galamsey. In the last 3 years, relics such as seized gold, excavators and weapons, which could have served as evidence for the prosecution of illegal miners, have been misappropriated and cannot be accounted for by the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining. Yet government claims to have achieved results. Ladies and gentlemen, to think that some of the so-called missing 500 excavators are being secretly returned to Accra, while some have returned to the forest to continue the illegal activity, speak volumes of the tragedy we have in our hands today. I'm sure you've seen videos of some of the so-called missing excavators being returned to Accra into state yards for that purpose. We know that the excavators are not missing. Yes, we know they have sold some. We've seen the bank statement of that Peace FM journalist, and we've seen the so-called criminal complaint filed by Professor Frimpong Boakye against KWASI, alleging that some of these things have been sold. And ladies and gentlemen, we also know that most of these excavators have been rented out to foreign illegal miners who have paid monies, huge sums of money to government officials. And these are the very excavators which are being used for illegal mining and to plunder our water bodies, our forest reserves, and so on. And so it is not true that all these excavators have been stolen. And since you broke this story, since we started discussing this matter, they have started returning some of these things shamelessly. Our distinguished friends from the media, President Akufo-Addo's inexplicable inaction and reticence over this flagrant abuse of our environment and water bodies speaks to his complicity in this matter. In any serious country, the Galamsey Queen Aisha Wine and other Galamsey kingpins like Charles Bissiou, President Akufo-Addo's presidential staffer, and Andy Owusu, special assistant to Chairman Wontumi, who were indicted in Anas Arimiyawa Nas's Galamsey fraud documentary, would have been standing prosecution by now. Yet President Akufo-Addo has shockingly refused to crack the whip on these miscreants, thereby emboldening other MPP officials and their foreign collaborators to engage in Galamsey with impunity. If Aisha Wine was standing prosecution in Ghana today, do you think that other foreigners would have had the impunity and the audacity to engage in Galamsey with the impunity we are seeing today? Only 2 days ago, 14 Chinese were arrested in Ghana. And we know that there are several foreigners in Manson, Kwanta, Mansour, Dobia, in the eastern region, in the western region, today actively engaged in Galamsey. Why? Because Aisha Wine was left off the hook by President Akufo-Addo. Like the biblical Esau, this government didn't mind selling our sovereignty, our dignity, for what? A piece of bread. And so, through that, they threw an open invitation to the world that we are ready to allow our environment to be plundered by foreigners so long as they have money to loan to us or to grant to us. And that is the reason why this canker is on the rise. And in fact, that is the reason why the blame, all the blame for what is going on, must be put squarely at the doorstep of none other than President Akufo-Addo. If Charles Bissiou was standing prosecution today, do you think that KWASI, John Boadu, and these latter-day Galamsey kingpins would have had the infantry to follow the bad examples of Charles Bissiou? But because Charles Bissiou is walking the streets of Ghana as a free man today, still working with the president at the Flagstaff House, people like John Boadu and respected surgeons like Professor Frimpong Boakye, his son, Jojo Frimpong, KWASI, have all joined the Galamsey trade because President Akufo-Addo has clearly shown that he endorses Galamsey, directly or indirectly. It is therefore least surprising that things have gotten this worse. And so, like I've already indicated, God will not forgive this country, this government, for this destruction, this degradation of our water bodies and our environment. And the people of Ghana will not forgive President Akufo-Addo. If indeed he put his presidency on the line, then he must suffer the penalty for this monumental betrayal of trust. Posterity will judge him, and the people of Ghana will judge him come 7 December 2020. And we have served notice that these officials of the MPP, officials of government, and their foreign collaborators who think that they can destroy our water bodies, our environment, and get away with it, because President Akufo-Addo himself is neck deep in this canker, should know that their day of reckoning, their day of accountability, their day of judgment is fast approaching. Very soon, an incorruptible man, a man of vision, a man who loves and cares for this country, called His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, will be elected once again. And he will ensure that they account for this destruction of our environment and for this gross violation of our laws. We are aware that the special prosecutor will soon be petitioned to investigate the latest revelations of thievery and corruption that have characterized the Akufo-Addo's fraudulent Galamsey fight. The NDC wholeheartedly support that petition and wish to call on the special prosecutor, Mr. ABK Amidu, to act swiftly this time around. His lackadaisical attitude on the Anas Galamsey fraud documentary has not helped, because we know that Anas petitioned his office about a year ago. He requested for raw video footages and he was supplied. Until date, it's taking him more than a year. Nobody is answering for their crimes.
Need 100.9 Ghana Montie Jumedi Sunu Asiogwe National Communication Officer for the NDC Rasami Jemfie Nradin Central for the Koye Prairie Vanano watching for Praso and what is answer when the two men Ghana for NTB Abaye Galamsey in the course. So the Boncratana being so an pay the Tintimayom Crate. Yabajimun Church, Munibiano pay Yampin for so a bit home come. I was asking in Koma Hodo to Jam. Need 100.9 Wajin Chair between media for text and WhatsApp line 0503721744 and net daffo fro and net nacho for fro. Ye see now church mui and ra adaroma yamfanguechi nyankuanim yanda radiasia we be kwan no dia man na no pay so yatinkwam enye ne panyina ne nyane sa enti sabre ya tachere madabo due moja die frusani sania tibia no obeda na se no akeka ho enti anope yaso yakeka ho yakagum yanyin sam no de bankrata na anope ensam no sania sitie ewo ye dwumedie so need 100.9
at the rock of Fiaman Homene so ejiji tonton sansan ewo need 100.9 FM.
Ghana Montie, Ghana Montie, Ghana Montie, Ghana Montie.
All the sampa Kasia bo go wakata wansa amaya se Kasia ABOAGYE
onye yimu no kretrodo kamagene men kamagene bo
Nitafe
mama yentie Kasia ABOAGYE 100.9
Kwesi bonkwe
ye kwa mano so na ansani abeji aye de bankrata de mon komo bi no so no mameni honorable Collins so usu amankwa Mashe Bejino Jama in Menshano for sounds ye vice chairman my interior committee no Mashe Bejim and that was also ye chairman for the government assurance committee or ye Mashe Bejima no pay ye ni Galamsey komo ya NDC editu ye dwe yisema Rasami Jemfi no working kind na and pay so yabobi e dia mamo honorable da simu akwa baba ni TFM so
ye ne afanye kese
na mpomo
doko dalembo
it has no pay say for ABOAGYE so na senior and pay and semenra and NDC for the central for the call ye pra na no na ni nyina gyina ye galamsey okun ene nia ekoso na womu se excavators ni mfidi amusisi ni nyina hyehyɛ moto na mo anso MPP foi mode ye galamsey ni ne kaka ho Mimusa as a vice chairman of the Interior Committee, any a chairman for the Government Assurance Committee, Nini Kakanwi. In some more king, Senate Mom.
No, that's it. Darling boy, Uncle Pony, I mean, never say, me who no say, Minia, Samajan fee, a cojina and seal, Repapra, and no, na, what's an friends and show for now we in Kunyano, me Yamoshine man. It's say a dear back of me say Miniano or no cray abon sound into a bread to say was it me too now offer. Say Minia Samajan fee near this 14 Yaku draw a cocojina a year pra. I know. Chair Ghana for some moon said the ensue aye. Na ensue no I say and ya say na Nina say galamsey for an answer. Let me be some one say. So ensue na many answer medium fee and na powerful say I say. And ye be no sense you no. Ne need to say wa bra no more by mono. And no my dream no musu say atay. Oh, and only hypocrisy need double standard. Say biya na meka ho asem no. Ye ni kromo ha. And at the year 2016, former minister for environment, science and technology. You knew a yariga. Mama yariga. Ebeka say afidie. Ekono mo kunditia galamsey no wapaba the senti wa man ensaso central for as ma make em beti ma cheki se wa man ensaso na ekono dwe wo hu se enipa na nkasa na said we use the word stubborn and to no de wapaba na omapanyini na nakufado to Obama no are making certain pledges say intimate na ho ema yensase ensei intimate na ho ema yensu ano ensei eba sadia enie na yeni ankasa ena yaso ayeman ekobo ne fi yase they say anything in Ghana for Montamechi central for Montamechi talent boy central for mobo ma panyini chido ye nyina ye ko edietia sadien o ma panyina ye na famu de wa ye ni nyamesum adwuma ye nyina no ye peniye na mpanifo se upeniye so a obre enti galamsey ntokwa no de aban no a wote wosisi an enjai ko o ma panyina owo Jubilee House onjai ko ye beko so ama nipa no bi o musu se o hihia na o modwiri no look wo ye MPP ni wo ye CPP ni wo ye NDC ni wo ye hwan na se Ghana ye nyina o man ye die o si oni ye nyina ye nwini momudia o se nipa ni de ye beja ho na yakoye nim. Now coming back to so-called missing excavators at that NDC for ano I said no more catcher. Why? And the catcher said 500 excavators are here. Professor Frimpong Boateng on can the other. He hasn't said it anywhere. Say 500 excavators are here. The figure was engineered by NDC. The minimum and say a year. The current minister for energy, or former minister for lands and natural resources. Yura Peter Amewu. Onomo koye operation. It's a man she and Central for no so far the almost near retrieve 500 excavators. So that the word 500 no came from him, not Professor Frimpong Boateng. Now, Obi Asuni, say, Omo Isaka excavators no, Omo Mia Bia, a ho and a yomo depoa, Sebi, Omo, a de machines Nikokosi. So, Yam Bise, who say, your boss a year, you call Boasi, and answer, you call Honorable Mekuduka constituency or Christ, Takwan. Na ye koho na ye ba eye enkran mo akira he ya I've forgotten town mo akiri mo enye tesa no mo jowulu hosi omo wo ba bia na
abelempe na jowulu
abelempe me dase abelempe. And apart from Abilimpe, no, Omo Temakwan is so a flower or quino. A horse so there's a Ibia, Omo machines need be woho. I've forgotten the town. Opa Kohonina Nekoshe so excavators no. You're a Meuka once them now. Professor from Pomboatin by now. Omo nyina gusu ye operation send e be sanitary system no. That excavators anyone at all. Of course, it could be possible that you know what you want to say. Almost we retrieve Nina. And no, does not amount to 500 figure, and this is for air cannon. And that is palpable force. I am throw and a million Sami Gemfi, any million men this is for no AD. Omuji tu say, no could be any Sassamna or more air cannon. At Minia, Omani yin idea. Ye my yin. As o my penny, see what boy. Nobody said him, Aboya my protect your water bodies, your protect your lands. Nase, any panum be Jomo Peggy, said Romo Funqua, no more say. Sa a corner I was I know. Omo man and kwa ya de ya crab ye mu bi de ya crado say e be bo man panyini amana ko nemu de time wo mu ni say NDC fo a oma begye asem na gina mu no nimpa say e ba missing excavators me I don't want to do politics of equalization ba pa yen track it na yen hwe Lieutenant Beblo Lati operation that time NDC for ete eye galamsey task force operations e course bisa ho say excavated be 950 na almost here said that time no makojije no eno omo ye aban say omo de mahwan de animu ani so omo kwashi me chairman de bi chairman untumi machines ni bi no omo di camouflage omo yes and omo di brigana for any so to say the machines omo kwaji nyina no o machine nyina. They stole it. Omu via machines. And omu chem fire. It you know omu ya omu adwene say. Then you omu na wa ban mu anasa ane ma boni ni nyina na do omu ko opposition no. Omu be poma tade no omu de sa ane ma ni nyina hye ya.
Okay, but me misa honorable one more nsem no tudwa no. Womu de nyina so no omu yifie budget statement for 2020. Budget statement and financial policy for 2020. Now, omudi ekoye paragraph 801. 801. Honum na can be about illegal mining, Galamsey 2019 performance and outlook for 2020. Now, 70 bi omubusa and said, okoye budget statement and financial policy now. Eka se infidia so far na excavators Galamsey anti-Galamsey ye bi sha se kun etia no etimi ageno ye 900 na almost say okay say 900 na say be a former minister no dia ba betu dwa say okay 500 wo mu ehu a ayira ni omu busa say 400 na aka no wo hefa wo mu busa sa asem no mpacho sa asem ye omu ken say we ya no say
me pacho very simple Jedikan. NDC4. Yes, sir, buying machines no more GP. Accounts there no more the mine.
No, but honorable.
No, me patch me bow.
Yeah.
Neighbor. Minya. Me no casano. My church or me machines in the group. So I would have anticipated. Say, a junk can central for Musumba Boy. Say, honorable Collins, I can't say, be say, oh, you call high be who you call a big be. So, I'm going to be BNC. You are fain and now talking about that 400 maybe or more bisano. Now, I bet say, oh, any 400. Ninia, no could be any sardine.
No, Chris said they need budget statement. Say, okay, 900 excavators now so far.
What I'm saying is, Sebi. Excavators are here can once we a tangible project, so yeah, intangible. A siwa, who say excavator, Sebi, any sihon, machine, any sihon. Machina will maybe say, Omofa hono deco. And the Ukona says, I didn't know one no. Oh, Capi Gabia, no, be no why I didn't say, oh, any no crack.
Okay, no, I'm okay about excavator.
Justice, I didn't know. You be probi adiano to the latter. Now you want to say, oh, adiana and bia, bear 20 bidia, you shy you, who na Ghana fire convince say, I, ye call Hana saying you who ye call Hana saying you who ye, Minia. Now say ye bebo ye serum, now ye becoming in a boom. Now ya defigure Babatua Bontene wa bra, figure na diabetua Bontene no. No official in the government and they make it categorical statement, you know. I want any idea me person. Obia ti asese. E NDC4 na pop o na atena se.
Okay.
E no omodi adwum boni ti no. O ma bo po se ye megu aban ni hu fin. Any aban ni mu fo hu fin. No win very well say asem na wo mo ka no. Emfiri obia num. Em obia si su dia say excavators 500. So now they are giving us conflicting figures. The can say 500. After one narrow to 400. Darling boy, and the betting a beba 150.
No, but I'm so dance I'm kakra because there's this question and as we move on is okay. Oko ye budget statement and financial policy now. A woman said 900. It is stated. I mean clearly me so.
Put mami. For the sake of
me just say oko aye we no more. Budget statement. You want upesa making kana. Budget statement nana. Be da menim. So uko page and paragraph 801 now. Illegal mining, Galamsey, 2019 performance and outlook for 2020. Mr. Speaker, as part of government's commitment to sanitize artisanal and small-scale mining in the country, the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining provided oversight for the implementation of the following activities. And we're listed in a more like bullet form. So, okay. First bullet says public education and sanitization of traditional and religious leaders as well as other stakeholders on the dangers of illegal mining. Monitored and tracked 900 excavators used in mining operations leading to the arrest and deportation of 139 Chinese illegal miners. Mapped out 300 concessions for commissioning by end of the year. Constructed 2 landing sites on River Pra at Beposo and River Ankobra at Axim and imported 2 boats for transportation on these rivers. Constructed a floating foot bridge at Chimwana. Okay, I'm sure it's Chimwana. Chimwana, but it's spelled Chimwana here. Chimwana at Choko to boost economic activity and movement across the river. Purchased 12 outboard motors for the Operation Vanguard Task Force and the Riverine Task Force, which resulted in the arrest of over 1,727 illegal miners, seizure of 2,779 weapons and ammunition, as well as seizure of 4,045 other mining equipment. Inaugurated 85 District Committee on Illegal Mining, DCIM. Set up 11 CDVTIs and trained the first batch of 331 trainees. Furthermore, 345 tools and equipment in various trade areas have been procured and distributed to 345 beneficiaries. Trained 4,500 miners in sustainable mining operations at the University of Mines and Technology. But just 801 no mu gina so no di busa asem say.
Hefa na can say excavators 500 are missing. According to document already here. She darling boy. Anytime be no ya na me can say menu as emergency hype keke. Onye thorough research. I'm catch you. She oba bontine. Na if you want to battle figures otie. I was say what nase. Na wasem na wo kan. Esisi so. Na evidence based argument na wo ya. Eka wo court ye no. Na ya born pa say after say you retrieve we nyina no. The intimate tracking. The ye hwehwa ye hunu no.
But when it's honorable, me say asem no a wo mu bisa no dane no. Because say wa ankasa wo kase mukura no wa can say former energy, in fact energy minister now, the former natural resources minister Peter me no the two just said excavators 500 b mu me boa
there be or see operations are 1 year no or retrieve 500 excavators.
Okay,
so there were 500 na be mu no honorable Peter me we say you retrieve operations here ni yetimi anya excavators 500. So me can say there were 500 now. Ebi obi beka say ringing bell in our minds no. First 500 figure na yete ye no came from the former minister. But some a former minister Honorable Peter Mewu an kan be bia say 500 excavators ayira. And the current minister some kan be bia say 500 excavators ayira. It is a dear cost to social media ni nyina lifeless propaganda. And I'm a person in a country against so. And I'm person in a country against so. I am tro and a man for can will be a fabi and normal year and a 500 excavators. When so my header say, oh, I won't say I am confirmed no to call Burkina or my maybe any excavator and so name in a gimmick. Look at me. No kwe woman say and confirm the day. Ebesi na ye hunu. Nemu excavators ne de. Seven prebiasa. Opa uhunu. Udi etira obuhunu. Okọ mia ne ho na se excavator bi nsisi hodia. Ene na wo so aba be expose me say ene Collins so abedi atro. Sa ene ne oman ne di nkomo. Enye se tumi aye penti. Sebi yama yoko bedi nkonimu nti no. Na ya hwe nipa anim na ye massage figures. Na ye di atro. Na ye exaggerate eniema ade ne ye bakokra kokasa ye 100 na de menua baba jama kan ye mrebi se NDC for me ka kire mo se mo ba bontene na mo pese ye jimo asem ni di na mutu mu nchina aboa no ye odwan anasa ponche kura kase nantwie se ne be ye amanfo ye mbehyi wo mu na menua ta adanko dada do tactics we wo say wo petu mi na wo say na wo be fa so sa wo be bre because some of us no unlike omanpanyini Mahama say mo kan say Ghana for was short memories. Some of us we have retentive memory. If you be cause wa kaka enkofo okrom ha agi sasem ye kase yemfa ya no ntomu bi na ese de ano betum bi na ye be ma manfo hu no say stay na ade ne tia no kra ne ye ba kope me bana me be kasa ade ne say ne tia eno no maka. And so, Bashani Penny, now what do you I mean, what do you gain from that? Now, my call now, my call me cry intelligence, and I may pick a crash as a movie, you cry. No, tell woman, no, no, baby, or more fire. So, Muko and I will soon, no crown ought to be investigated.
And we are there.
And we are there. Tell you, be some more calls. I'm a gentleman.
Oh, sure, one more, me, acquire.
Oman koji jomona e wonju na no.
Den sami jamfimu.
Besi bisa omon. Say no, this is the intelligence I'm picking.
There be say now canteen na me bisa no
want to believe say no cre etimesa ye further a check to see So moko no moko ye niema bi wo so a emfata. I mean, what kind of lifestyle is this?
Almost see more exhibit in Yama excavator so weapons are magini nyina mu magana for nyina hu so kiwa adwuma na mo ye nse ni say na because sisi ansem no I say wo mu hu so ye papa
na we di asem no mo ken e di asem no mo ken enti figures any operations o mo ye na o mo de betu dwan na botokomu ade ana se ade a se bi eyesumu djuma omushi asentwafo etuo ni ade a na o mo retrieve nyina no omu showcase mo bi ehunu bi operations o mo koye ye machines nyina ba TV so omu showcase mo bi ehunu bi UTV fo nyina hwe ayi ma ye hwe bi ati di ensem na ya no mo be ka kire ye no look darling boy okay. Yeah, we have an election to win. And ya to abama yen. And I yen ye wa ban mu ya ma yen 4-year mandate. Your mandate no so afin as 4 years. Name Ghana for be renewal based on a delivery. Et ye focus. Na your manifesto na Ghana for the be gina so assess ye no. Obia sebi wadi amemu papa chi ache. No nim amemu mu no wakwadare wo amemu mu no ebe ka kire wo se ye hwe manifesto a 2016 MPP for ton de Ghana for any anohoba any bosha ni wom a o mampanyini na Akufo-Addo that time no ye candidate and as a flag bearer na wo di ye nimu no ene ye nya akwanya form government in terms of implementation obia be ka kire wo se aban ya wo hoi wa body humodin pa na anfo ene kire ne nto aso eninti aban no ye nto aso eno na nipa dodo na aka na sa me ye very mobile pa me tu kwan wo du ba bia na nkrofo aka na Collins muni mamemu papa sei ena na moti ho ema NDC for sell o man no omo sell o man no enti Mr. KWASI ABOAGYE AK darling boy senior no cry ya bakope and tro na NDC for AD ene akohwe edi kire Ghana for na ye bekoso apa omo ho ntoma sisi amene wo kase mranche ne maba wanu bebre wo man we mu a wo mo boil se aden ena Airbus AC versus a director of a serious fraud office, UK. Judgment about deferred prosecution agreement about. Ama Ghana ya boye dini. Na ya describe sebi. Adia MOB kanche se tonchini dini wanumokum. Government official 1. Eye ni chocho muchoni nuya. Ono intermediary 5. Na kokoshe enwuma o mampanyi Mahama na achuro ye na ko description de man ni nua Samuel Mahama na baba be share sa deferred prosecution agreement can 5 oba be hwem na ho description na court no ana say prosecutors no e de man ni nua ye ka ho asem yi na uwie na baba ka say high ranking and elected government official Wabra ye name say per our political structure. Me, I was a candidate in 2016 election. Nana Akufo-Addo was also a candidate. Na me a parliamentary candidate. No man penny a presidential candidate. Odi nyina to nsani a 275 parliamentary candidates ani o na ye ko ye no. They no a high ranking. Odi candidates nya to be a presidential candidate. Enti se obeform government oba be government official 1. Wait, you don't need a soothsayer to tell you. Emrante ne maba wa no say. O mapanyi Mahama. Omra bontene. Betin tesu kokko amana be kirem because enim guase no aka o man ne so.
Okay.
Mene wo ka say Lanka. Indonesia, Malaysia, Taiwan. Obiani abre.
All right. Arabo.
Obiani abre.
You got to come on here, didn't you? You fancy what I say? Na me nasi.
Enti ano di abeba so pa we want to know. Ebeba so amra no me kabi.
Okay.
Wa shada akata na ni ti said ye won hunu hwe no na no obese say o jam electoral commission.
Me da se anope. Nyami sha papa Honorable Collins Usu Amankwa na anope wone Edin Komokakra no. Masebe Juno Jan Mensha North Vice Chairman for the Interior Committee and Chairman for Government Assurance Committee anope need 100.9 Ghana Montie Sunu Asogu Yakwenim.
Frichi freche framre fete freche mu fentem frem. E frechiri freedom say Aumantie amansentie Ghana Montie woni.
Yan to aso ne anje and come on be nsu feed abon krata no mu senior 70 ewo mu. Ni amso mo kan fa central phone shi mu e call suini ne ensema hodo e wode abon krata. Akosi yanko.
Yo, abusia ene na akwesi boy no e na chronicle do abon krata de ho asema bakrata fa to so miensa. Na wasi si aye kasai excavators no makoma kwa ha 9 ne hwehwe aye nhunu ba bi afa. NDC amanyokuo no eno mo ka kire MPP amanyokuo ne na ban say sa 400 excavators ya say 500 de say ye nhunu na 400 na aka na we hefa ye ka ni nyina abom ana kyese ene number sa ahankro 900 eno mo so mbu nkonta de kire Ghana fo NDC amanyokuo no kokoye wonum nsentwerofo hia mu ewo asuo praso ewo twifo praso a eno wo mfimfini mantam enrada twifo praso ewo mfimfini mantam enra na samejamfi a wono na wo ye gitanwudie bofo ema ndisi amanyokuo no e kire se wo mu hia nkuntabuo edefa se yese ne galamse yetu ase na ye ntu ase mbekura e bete so amana kofom enti omu ebisa excavators 400 na aka ekire no womu sa ebisa se etuo ene akodie bia wonom ensa kan ye aye keka bomu abese empemienu ahanson ne aduoson enkono 2779 weapons any ammunitions na eguo afei enuoma ne akade aye di tu galamse bese empem nan ene ekire no womu yasa aban no mfa meguo no omu mfre UTV Free TV stations ni radio stations aka samomra na momhwe excavators na yesi aka 400 na nie enuoma yagigi free nkrofo ho enu su nie na obia hu bi na kamia yesa nkontabuo ni nsem ombeka ye nyina no sebesabe oyehurodo hwiada nsem sese ye hwehwe ne ba bia ye hunu na wo mo eto so a kire se that exhibition no beboa amomanfo atiase yie na pepepe ye asi emu ada ho fan na obia hunu de ekoso Ghana for hunu fa so bi e ba so wo mo nenam betena radio so ni TV so e kire yesa an mampanyi wa yire ne ho pa ama galamse wo tu ase wo ye adwuma enko ba bia eso sabre opposition manyoku kire se wo biti se Aisha Wana wo ye China ni ba wo be pie mu wa hase galamse wo tam so aye edi e bo ne ho safo hene ye nneoma hodo nyina wo man mu no ye kire na pa ye se an ensa fatase ye de betena krom ha e wase ade ni ko de kurom na ni kuromfu akwakobu na tan ene ne keka ka ho na ba ye gya na ma no koye NDC amanyokuo no kire se enipa ye kasai enioma hudo bebre na aka sinsemu a ese fata se mampanyi akufu ado e ba bonten na obekirechire mu ana se MPP amanyokuo no kirechire mu wo kire se akodie ya wo muka ho asemu do musuro ene se ye de bekwa kwose MPP wo mu vigilante fuo yinsam na wo mu de be ya basabasa wo man mu ene ya yesi yetu galamse yasie yetu ase afiri ho ama galamse fuo ya kwakope ba bia tra de bia tutum ne keka aka ho a se MPP amanyokuo no party no wo mu ena yese de wo mu ye galamse no na o se we mu nyina no wo mu abu wo mani agusu a ense emfata
yanko na ye ni ora Peter Boamo tokono Deputy General Secretary Amanyokuo NDC na ye musa no na ofa chronicle say 400 excavators still missing ti near a bibusa na say okay excavators in 500 naira na 400 naira. Okay, I think we've lost him on the line, so we'll try and get him back. Yensakana, you better trust. But yanko the bon criteria come on na yentie yen 7b and fan traso. Yeah.
Daily graphic the obokrata na mafani say na animu ho. And the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Ghana mampani abedi chire ye mampanim na be de chode phone number na wo kasa for free SHS ho was free mampani da osaje for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah penso bibi aban aye de atwitwaje ne manfo afra ho hinem de de yi omanfo afra ohiem de abebo omanfo tenka e wo mo botom aye free SHS free senior high school now just abebo papa na we anya policy aye best o boaso am ya chechiro man yie e wi so man bia mu nipa eninim no ya no man ni mpuntuo na kwa achewa achew e di say ye boa ma mofra ne nya nimde ye fapem no ne de boa ekoyie o de asemi koto dwa adwabo etoso aduosia ba ko a Swedro Senior High School for year 61st speech and prize giving day e ho no mampani be de chede asemi kokoto dwa na wa chem de akire bion say abanya ye ne say contractors ayamo omo adwuma contractors aye de adwuma hye wo nsa e free SHS no honom wo mo nyiro ho no obia ntimi nwie ne de e wo bre a esem na double track ne so enche ebekwa awieye we ye nsem wano pay daily graphic de ba ye e for free SHS ho o mampeda be de che Dr. Mahmoud Baumia ho Ghanaian Times the wakata no krata fa toso me nsa na me de eba wo che se nipa be se ensia na atoyemu ha bra nkwanhia esiye na wotwe awieye nipa nsia na atoyemu ha wo mto anananom wonse do sa nkwanhia esiye wo krache Westminster nimu na we eye oti region nanu fiada na wo che se sa nkwanhia esiye cargo truck bia bibia nsisi mu na omanfo na omugum no wo mo ebro be se aduokno na no wo mu egu sa truck mu na wo che se dodo no ano na wo eye yie a wo mu esu obi ena wo mukotena mu na bra Ghanaian Times say wone policy panyini a wo empotamu ho eye DSP Nkrumah di nkomo no ena wo che se wono kra ye na nwanwa ne ho adwiri no se enipa betimi akwako tena sa track mu na enye se bia ka bi na di kobo mu o omunim de ye wo mu hu ya ne se ka no etoto wo mu hu ya na ezram akwakohwe ne hwe ho no ena nam so atoye mu nipa nsia ewuye nipa miensa ekoko wi wo ayaresabia abra ye tisa sa nipa prepre ene sa enipa na ewuwo no ekopie mu ewo ayaresabia ho na wo chese na abobe se nonum ena sa asemi esiye enipa duosia ena no wo mo eye mones wo mo a wo mu esu wo mo de hye enso so se de ade ne kokosi eye no track no mo titim no no mo do mo sa soso enade na ye de asoso mu no eno na no ma soso mu gina mu eti ye ka say drop ani a ye no kwaku asetena wanya mfinhia aduana ba
mame nko ama no so nko disa nko we mbra ye Peter Boamo Otokono ye Deputy General Secretary ma NDC Peter Dasimo akwa baba ni TFM so
Well, so many abema
na bakodi e
ya mi ado
so asembisane say CCR no yamfa figure ben because earlier yenya report na mo am communicators because 500 excavators naira say enra central for shame we am ye no abegina so ke 400 naira dia hini dia pa ansem ne say
yo ye di kai kwesi say ya we ho sem kese se ye betra wo man na amanyofo ibeku ye ho ani ma ne so ne dada ene kropo na sa adie ya ye kan wa sim galamsi a se bi ya ye kan wa ye amanyofo na e wo NDC a ye peja sa se ye peja no na matter of principle ye wo hwe President Muhammad Dumedi a wo ye e wo sa galamsi to na ni nyine mu no ne fapem ne se ye nyankopon adi awo boy a eye issue eno ene the basis for survival of this country mu ono mono na ye na mo na wo mu etutu kwan na wo mu enemu re mu a wo mu pe be acha se wo mu ebe chete wo be bi acha wo se afre wo ekuro a wo mu hwe se issue wo ho nti issue ya de awunya pa na sa galamsey sensem no esa se wo mu dwumadie no ye regulate na ye yɛnhwɛ ɛkwan a wɔn fa so ɛbɛyɛ mine no a ɛmfa oye ne embre nyankopɔn abɔdeɛ a wɔaboa ama yɛn no na ɛhwɛ yɛn nkwa anaa sɛ ɛhwɛ yɛ survivor ho akadeɛ na provide ma yɛn no akɔyɛ sɛ sisi ano ne nyinaa agye nsɛm na mekae paa 2016 ɛberɛ a ne yɛyɛ campaign President Akufo-Addo ɛtu n'ani esi Galamsey area areas ɔmo yɛ mine na wɔkɔ ɔmo hɔ maako ɛka kyerɛ ɔmo sɛ wɔn mo atete sɛ wɔno President Akufo-Addo wɔba President Mahama Jumadi a wɔyɛ na wɔde camp down on Galamsey no wɔno ba abɛhyɛ mu kina no wabɛstɔpo Galamsey koraa na ɛyɛ ntoro kɛse meyɛ sure sɛ kwasi wɔ saa tape no wɔ hɔ sɛ gaa bɛtumi abɔ ama Ghanafoɔ ama ɔmakyia sɛ wɔno ba abɛstɔpo Galamsey ɛyɛ ntoro koraa na Galamsey no afei na ɔba abɛhyɛ mu kina ama mmeranteɛ no tumi ayɛ Galamsey no ama ɛso mfasoɔ aba ama Ghana man na wɔn nso wɔnyɛ man na President Akufo-Addo ɛkasa wieɛ no saa mmeranteɛ yi ɛyɛ ntɔkwa ɛna wɔn de maa no ɛmaa no de yɛ campaign wɔbɛwi ne wieɛ a wɔbɛdi president ɛdɛn na President Akufo-Addo yɛ President Akufo-Addo ayɛ ne sɛ instead of say wɔbɛregulate wɔn adwuma no wɔhwɛ kwan a wɔbɛhyehyɛ na ya monitor said the be adwumadie na wo mu di no chemicals scrap a wo mu use aye mine no ya be regulate na ekwan a wo mu tu form ana say wo mu mine asase no ya be regulate na enkofa oye nembre ensuo a ye dodo na enom ewo ba ni mu obeye wo sa adwumadie no wa anye ne se o obaye eno obe start say won stop Galamsey for yi nanka wo de won stop kra nanka yenka se okay mu ntwen mu mfa mu mfidie nko ba adwumadie no mamonye ye mahokwan a na master ati akoye ye President Akufo-Addo ye ne say wo sizi omo cars omo de omo de side ye chiwa ni ye sizi excavator ni ye sizi machines omo de adwuma ni ye sizi na ye sizi wi a uti anye yi a na yesi galam stuff omumbotu enku ema majority leader ebegina okra bu se that dey we dey say wo mu ye no honorable say usu ne kan ya na say majority leader deputy speaker
first deputy
say omunye shoot to kill just ye shiawa o dey me en chokra nkoje woni ema ye shoot ni enku ye shoot ni eku wi a ye mfa we excavator na ye sizi na emu orem kakra me kai se kwesi me ni mu di sa de nkomo e ka se yentimi nkra o mamu e ma so obi di bone a obi e de mra be se ne nsem na police fo bi na be hu na o ma bo tuo na o ma kon free na sa o be hu obo tuo na o ma start asizi excavators ni niam e de na e serious matter e ya sema anu odin yi na kwesi ne again say excavators ya yesi adi ya ye so ano kwan yi Galamsey ya ye kwi ne nkebe ya ye dru Ghana for do nyina ehu say ye ya make progress na nke again say no ano then na President Akufo-Addo ne mpamfo wo mo esizi Galamsey no esizi site no na wo mo di ama wo mo party for MPP for amoma yesagment na me kai pa se me ni wudi nkomo bi somre na me ka kire o se sa Galamsey ya wo mo fight ya wo mo chairman for mo so mo ye galam stop shoot to kill esizi amanfo ni nyina no wo mo di se adwumadie no na wo mo sizi amanfo concession na wo mo di sa concession no akwa akoma MPP for ama mama tena nokre pa ye ka na Ghana for do na empese omo betie ta enu pepe ama Galamsey kasa wo mu sizi ye wo ma che ama party concessions a wo mo dide ye o ma redistribute ama wo ntumi kura po de yɛsi kɛseɛ paa ɛwɔ mu ɛna yɛde ama no ɔntumi ɔyɛ Ashanti regional chairman of the MPP.
Why say? Why say?
And you know when you see a video no.
Then video.
Oh, there's a video yeah. We see echo record me. From as I've informed, but I almost a party yesterday.
And no.
What?
I know say a concession kasi wo mu pa e won't me no.
Yes, want to me concession and a song. The concession the man and a song. Now so utie seminar now utie Jombo do crowd with fidie so a. Was you na the party for the boys CDB super so mu ye galamsey ni. And I say want to me concession soon no. Wo mo de direct you ma want me say wo mo ko want to me ho na wo mo concession ni no mo mind. Na so woman party for concession so mo come mine na wo mo ni excavators a say mo bo mo no mo to excavators e no na ma excavators are no mo severe free small scale miners for we up. In fact mo ye legal mining o enye galamsey keke o e sa eyi excavators from ho e distribute e ma party for no emfa sa excavators ne nkoye mining. Eti na chese kona oku ye nyina shutu kill ne ye keka o nyina no na o yese o party for no ebenye bi aye na wo musu enye bi adidi ho na no last week misia MPP ni pani misia no se na mukra de na muka galamsey asemta afi ayeso edu yeso ayeso yekoye galamsey yi bi enye sika yi bi adi no ena masheda be ye de ama galamsey yi ye ba bi
MPP pani
MPP penny
ben no
ene eka da asem no ekire na kusi
na unya asem na no
o hwe eyi ekwan a ode me yadan
na me chese o si MPP ni penny na me penny ben
oh na kwesi se wodi me 70 ni embo penny ni kwesi sometimes man komodie ne ye long.
Enya long say ayi wo kan asem a say utu si ano a kire mire nti utu mire ano a kire si nti e say otimi kire asia na mboa
kwesi me mboneti
okay
me mboneti
okay
na me na me ka kwesi ne say enti wo shutu amanfo akumo mo wo man krofo bebre sanu adwuma a wo munye siketa kire.
Hello. Peter, I'm say ayi voice no kwechire kra mente woni no ye hwese bia Isabeka ye nene no kwechire kra yente ni oka Peter Boama Otoko no Deputy General Secretary for the National Democratic Congress and pay need 100.9 galamsey hon komo enra na manyiku NDC edin central for the omko ye efiopra ano ni nyina no se wo mo se galamsey okun senior nyamesiko. And I've been sent this message by someone, Brana, Honorable Collins, and I've seen that same message on the comments now, Ebano. And I have this news report here that was published on my Joe Online. I think it was 29th January 2020. Why were seized excavators not kept with police? Two groups ask government. Now, my many Peter Ankodin come about making kind. About dispute on this 500-400 excavators in instance. Peter, Fatia, I want to not yen someone now come.
President
Sure. But Sasa we bem say me busao, but unsheden ya no say me see ntisi ya no 500 excavators one sem na mokasa ira na 400 excavators. There any emfa.
Enye na yedi number 2 excavated issue. Enye yedi number 2 excavated. Small scale miners na yedi ji omo excavator. O matiku no. Ena omo no mo sie se Professor Frimpong Boateng interview bi a oye. Ena o ka so excavators a yes season no ayira no. About 500. Later ya say omo buy say ebi class 150, ebi say 120. Yes, Japan message was here 182. Then this is your margin say Just yanti number ne so na magana fu hu se number so no en so sa. But in your woman pa ye tititi no. Yes, excavators on my channel 500. Nelson so no one maba. Say oh 400. If you have found it all your granted say 400. Yeah, say your back crapua. What is you be excavator? I'm a national neguma. See a man for a year so called galam stop point. So move that small scale miners if we side. No more chase your man. Because yes, when you so cafe. Now, can we say, mine asem na ye kano, you mu mienu. In fact, you mu miensa, your last skill for the new month. Or more margin license, no more your last skill. Or more use equipment like a CFO underground in here. And you small scale minded. Almost so much license. I'm running more quite. You regulate your movement. And you're galam 6-4. That galam stop, you best stop, small scale phoning, employ thousands and thousands of our youth. Chase your money, woman, yama. As one more life is so, and Bramo more quite. So, Omunia mine. No, yeah. What did your money, you know? Say, you know. Say, you so. What of their party for so, say, Mumma Swaba, where your mumma, into Mumba Jem Fidiano, Namufanko Yajuma. I said, we are some pa. We are some as here to Mrs. Soso. Now, so, you come with your pa. One more thing is a excavator. Now, one more again, you know, and I said, excavators number, yeah. And your young fellow, yeah, send you over a network, you know. Will be to me at the raising fund. None of the kind. Your Persicadia party, no, at the other party, by way of giving out the excavators at very cheap price. Oten cry and cry for your friend Belu. Just what they check Belu, then from Mano, a Belu price, just a young free. Now, you are scam, you mobilize it near from a party in your party. Now, Belu, now air torn the crap.
Peter Bomo Tokuno, yeah, Humana Asante Kobium, but ya can do a story. Any sense me a man for kind. Me Baba King kind story be and is on the platform. Baba kind story be what I'm saying. Like I said, that was published online by myjoyonline.com, 29th January 2020. I can kind story now. Minister Professor Frimpong Boateng Asembi Anoka. And paragraph now, in fact, I think of static and 72 hold on a measure if you see Professor Frimpong Boateng made the revelation who had disputing figures attributed to former Lands and Natural Resources Minister John Peter Amewu that a total of 500 excavators were seized. Now, and I quote, that was not the case. We were told that 500 had been seized and given to district assemblies. But later on, when we went out to check, the figure was far less than that. He said on the Super Morning Show. Then he made the disclosure that many have criticized as disappointing. Okay, well, so, but Honum in particular, I'm Pese, Uchechim Kakramami.
You're now young commating, you're on the joy for boy, and Muchu be to online. Professor Frimpong Boateng. Eddie said the yen semi to Ja no Chester Canaan Lands and Natural Resources Minister. Ora John Peter Amewu and I can't say Omache excavators 500. Now 500 on the Akoma District Assemblies a hodo. Name Momo Coco Boy Chireno. Na enusa e wo fam krasnesa. E wo fam krasne 500 no mate ye no. Na entesa. Say and Professor Frimpong Boateng. Okay,
so it is not stated. Well, yeah, I mean, this is January. Yeah, no, Omukudi is Ankomoe. Wankase be Omachi. I mean, 500 excavators and now
500 seized.
Yeah,
our district assemblies.
And yes, okay, all right. My mini Peter Boama Otokono we in common na yentimin tua yen semfo for so Peter Fache bem sa omana ya na ejiem kakra but say ubono tofa na ewie in common se na be ya omana ntin ko biuma. Ni nyina mu no uka kwesi say
Kwesi inti said ma chiri ko mu. Professor Frimpong Boateng ebeji ministry no every Peter Amewu. Peter Mewu Siano wono ena working a ministry of a year power energy womo energy one sense na wura Mewu obi a wo share sa galamsey ntokwe yase na obomochichi firi so ase be ka chem sa aboda nchem niti akopie ne shey bi de podua na ne podua be pie ditia ono wana kogi na chini wono a watra galamsey mfidie no ho akogye galamsey fidie ne say wage 500 wo ba na be assessment na say far lesser ni aka no we 0.9 ni aka no we anano last week wo bi free me free dambai wo say excavators ni ja be pie ono mo after excavator na ya jiji wo ha no na ye mai dambai ye mai ni be ni ye wo no chese the excavators na fufu ntabai na atutu ama sisi ya say omo ya assessment na file a day basis and after professor reform what in the years assessment so he was lying because excavators no what much to say burning cat here what much to it's among excavators 500 and the now what the idea no na okora the excavator ne ba no atro 1 the ba no atro 2 the ba no atro 3 one no say 500
okay
also your assessment
okay MC I can't yes
another we see the car say excavators na wo mo ka say enso 500 no excavators no mo odije ye no wo mo de ma amanfo so that wo mo de ma party for etunton bi enti no party no ezika wo mo hia eno video no kokko record here because wo mo ntimi fa ni nyina anto ne ho so anyo on na take decision a collective decision between Professor Afripom Boateng Dombuedu and a MPP party no so wo mo distribute sa excavators e tu betra na ka so omo so ma 500 na omo ya assessment no na lower than that and I say a short one you have to explain you have to explain you see who seeks equity let's come with the clean hands okay. The president Kufuado when I also be fighting corruption be fighting galamsey when I kokko that galamsey for is there wo the uba untwemu be support omo okay what's the sound again one support omo wo galamsey no one mama for ho akiro mo what's the equipment I will see e dey akoma party for can
yeah Peter oka ba mampanyi Kufuado no ni ewie nkomo no mo si dia mo be petition UN say SDGs co-chair no ma ye no dia yanyim finisem
person ye di kan kra papa no wa chese what ta akunya no say co-chair of SDG sustainable development nyina ye kan wa asem nyina sustainable development goals nyina aye environmental based eye kwanya ya faso kura abode a nyankopon ebodigaye now in the history of this country the worst manager of our environmental issues President Kufuado eba bola just woman felipoto ama bola nsensem bola adokure ye amne ye amakayiti e wo mamu hado bebi obefa bi abola make a car yakin, and so be Satia Soto. Who bola, ebi piaba. So in Paloma area, who got there a 2 blocks, 3 blocks, I will be present of Barufi. One got a bit across the pine. Because it's all baby, I met you.
Yeah, me too.
One name I got an across the present of Barufi, Quino. When you have baller, rubber. President, if you. I'm a president now. I'm was around a part. They need to say, "Ya to what you mean, ya day." Now, I said the galamsey says, "Some have a peaceful. I'm a useful na say. If you are for name na, we must just kakasi. We must green economy, plant trees, reforestation, young protect your water body. Now, when I hear sustainable development culture, that's a you one kasa wana ho. Insua di panom adani tea. Adani milotio ye de milk after na obola adokurewa do you deserve to be there because you do not deserve to stay one additional day 80 petition in yɛ de akɔ hɔ nom na yɛbɛkɔ so petition all the institutions are responsible for environmental protection.
Okay.
So that they take action. Because you see, that area no environmental distraction. It is killing our people. You are killing the people. You are taking away the survival of human race. So what I say, a nipa yes survivor. See a better train yase near Tinian Suanomna and you may hear a pediaquano a bit me Yanyana Yetinia Transano and a wood cheer.
But a bean so can say and Yamo and I'm Babe to Ghana for Yamna, but Namoa Bay when Diana Moya went to Yamu Kenya Mine and to Munya Kumna. One more right or make us or meet me a Yamu and DC for.
Pussy, Nayaka one Rebecca. And Yan Yabe to Ghana for Spain. Tell you, ye free to Guana Beni. Ghana for. Yes, we are trying Bermuda. In fact, your democracy I enjoy, the Biamica. All Republic democracy, I can be our money of my America. I end this. One million pump to an I end this. Now, so because a year and this year going to make a Biana and your Ghana for me, it's me and can. No one ever.
MPP for some Munko Airbus and some ye a
we are. Yeah, care about the survival of the people. But see, as somewhere I can grow. Share what should I be do? No, sorry, we be tap and swim free. We are watching a borehole.
Tap in the crown and say, Monty, yeah.
Borehole, Nankasa, and the crap on the water table. No, Yanumina. I'm a gal, I'm saying the credit water table. No, a two borehole, no, see, as one abandoned so a milk. A key. Because of Sadia, President Kufuado in the party for you. So what I say, you know, President, I mail to the President Mahama, and dear, be our woman. But in dear, be a reforestation program. You must President Kufuado saying, be I know, my dear. Woman can be in a mining. I won't be about Kukra. One day, Mautinia Yenanya President Kufuado play not too far the forest zone, the forest ecological zone of this country. Not playing on them, you must not form, not the way I say, just stay in the we are taking away the green of this country. Yes, when the last kid died, the last man died. President Kufuado has taken all the trees down. And you, my penny. And your man, a bema survive all year free one. Send the panel, or Bassa, or Bagian, and also a war man, and also Basso Buquin. Now, see me and cat. Well, when you say one can tell you why you were born. It's a petition in the area, could you say, I'm a President Kufuado. Now, Mudi, a Muko Jinan, Shona, no, sir, Edison to then a number of them. Petition here, the Aku. But petition in the Cassia Pan, ye de Magana for. The Cassia Pan, ye Ghana for petition. The Ghana for a more senior President Kufuado, I get. Muna 2 minutes cram, Okrana Muman and you young Crano, Aquay UN. And 2 years, yet the Akoma UN for you and for you in change. But in change, you know, at the Sino, ne the poor panic that Ghana for so. She a bit to about a tias up a pow. Up a pow, yeah. One dream, woman. For enquire. Not only any bottom and any party for as the dicta any second dear Basaba said, you know, Wabema Sa a dear way, Akoso. Not excavators, estimate to offer you, mamma, excavators, you excavate a dear dear way, because she says excavate machine can see. We are there moving to success and you move by.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's it.
I said my air can't say. Now. Excavators in baby to Afabiano, woman cost Sabra. Excavators, baby Afabia, pickups in your Momusina, baby Afabiano, woman Cofamra. Sebeya, not woman, essay, woman party for no, a bit Galam Sena. Will be making Yamana, a woman with your friend of Famomo, and Cosunim, as I'm a Conadan, make Cassim was you with say. Sakalan Fins and Semna Yeka. As a political party as a company. I yet me a shemba near Yanto yet. A bit in your mouth, I'm yet near regulated coffee. because your mine in your gold in your Yankopodia channel. Which agreements I had Yama companies are casino now. Then Yashi Womo. Yashi, Womutu gold in India, Tikaki Yomuzomutia Ruyat. And it Nina, woman, the Quaman on it, Canning in our Quaman on it.
Okay, Peter, I mean, that's the fancy I say, but I say.
What did you? One more so mining companies need to come back.
Okay.
So fast one. Shishemra.
Okay.
Small scale mining, on J license, I want to mean yet, or your license, or J license, so regulating the Sadia Bear. We bet you make money affected soon because we are there, go to know one amount for two. It's more soon to be. Now your reclamation, or mutu annual reclamation, no planted trees. No muso mutia to ma bino. Now bino at the Satuano, planted trees, your reclamation. Okay, supervisors or supervisor, small scale mining, no marco side.
But such brilliant ideas, I mean, when you are more than money.
No question. Yes, started regulation. Yes, any side you buy Ghana for President Akufo-Addo say, "Oh, Obama is free for all, no regulation." You know, to Obama. And other to Obama. 80% to Obama and Kasami come here so say. That can do more use for money. If you do supervisors.
Okay.
Our supervisor morning a minor side. Regulating the fish was will be other for Lumrano. Now will be also a contribution. I must have contribution the media reclamation and the reforestation of our land to protect our water.
All right, Peter Pacho, Medasi. Medasi. I mean, sure, Papa. 2020 mo pressure one better mama so mo tuma mo na mo ba na ma be ni nyina e dia magana for Kusi from Adenta says the NDC has every right to appeal to the UN, but they should also tell them that they sold state assets to themselves and wasted money on Guinea-Fa, Wyoming, RLG, Jida, Sada, Isofotin, CP, Bass Bryden, etc., etc. That's one here from Kusi from Adenta. Sky from Kaswa says, I can't think far about this NDC particular. They are always envious of President Nana Akufo-Addo's appointment. They should give us their campaign message and stop the unnecessary noise making in the country. That's one here from Sky. And to Kwejo Edupako, President concerned, Petro of Facebook says clearly, Sami Jenfi is gradually turning NDC party made up of senior citizens to Kumewood movies. So please play Me Riverside by Culture to Sami Jenfi. That's one here from Kwejo Edupako. Akosomo from Kukrentumi says, please let us establish the fact that Galamsey has been in existence from colonial government, and it is an indisputable fact that no president in the history of this country has fighted Galamsey more than Nana Akufo-Addo. That is one here from Akosomo from Kukrentumi. All right. Bright from Belgium says, how can a vice president of a country like Ghana say it's better for school children to study under trees than to stay home? Hey, have you forgotten the security of the children? Hey, Ghana politics. That's Bright from Belgium. Mukaila Jonas Adiya from Keri says, day by day, and this is getting interesting in terms of confusion. Tell Sami Jenfi and his NDC guys that organizing press conferences along water bodies won't solve their problems. That is one here from Mukaila Jonas Adiya from Keri. You see, in fact, the media today is not helping the development of mother Ghana at all. They are all quite afraid to hold the government accountable for what is going on in this country. But they should remember that God is watching over their work, and their rewards for manipulation await them in heaven. That is Lukman from from Taifa with that one. Need 100.9 Ghana Montie Suni. Agosia, Yantraso for Bakufetri Mami.
Yo, me wa Ghanaian Times the Obokata and watch us Onimonyam for Muntaka and a fair Banda MP. One more Konya and Quenchia. Nankwanhyia esi ye wo Kubase a ben konongo wasantemantem na no memne da no pa wɔkyerɛ sɛ asomase ne bandamra hyɛ bedwani na wɔnom ɛkɔ sunwane ɛyɛ bono mantam ne mu a wɔn kɔ ayie ya wɔn kɔ no wɔn te SUV wɔn kaa no a no wɔn tim no na abɔ bɛɛ sɛ nonkron anopa ɛna wɔn drɔbani a na wɔtwi wɔn no wɔsi wɔn hu sɛ immigration kaa bi ɛyɛ U10 na saa U10 ɔyɛɛyɛ no ne ni kwan so ɔyɛ ɛwɔ baabi kropɔte na ɔyɛɛyɛ na ɛno ɛna ɔdrɔbani ni yɛ n'adwen sɛ wɔhwɛ no agye wɔn nkwa ɛna kaa ne de kranana kiriri bom akɔhwe wɔ ɛhɔ a na edi mirika tɛntɛ de wɔn kɔɔ kɔnfa no kyɛ aban yaresabea abra yɛ de wɔn ɛkɔɔ yɛ no ne aposifoɔ ɛna di animu ɛma asesi a yɛkasa deɛ wɔn de ato dwa sɛ mpanimfoɔ mmienu wɔn ho yɛ.
Emsa no pay can can story be about Rosewood me boa the work craft and back minim nyana
ɛwɔ
baako kan I can about Rosewood but
yeah so mo yɛ nhwehwɛmu no ɛyɛ wɔn anya evidence
yeah
I'm say one of daily poster now
okay Baba Minko na meni Honorable Dr. Clementa Park Mrashibe Jino Jama Bulsa South na ye neno enkodi enkomo ewo sa eye nhwemu ya ba te Rosewood so Rosewood corruption committee finds no evidence Honorable yada say mo akwa baba ni TFM so
mejo so me chietie fo nyina so
so committee ye tu so wo munye nhwemu aba say Rosewood enue ya you say ne board say edua ne board ni ade ehia pai committee ade of report be true dwai say wakasa ho che say wo si emu ahwerem kakra ensem ni cheche mpa ne say
yo mpa cho me da se bebre am say Ghana for afede o mati ase de ekoso efa time we ya waka ho asem you we ndua what say to me enyini che anywhere between 50 and 100 years ansana Bruneba ka mature enti ayade a tedi etwetwa no ede or how ebre Ghana for or more memento so and most of the northern parts of this country as a committee na yete no the entire bansi or team committee ni say ekobi a US I from environmental intelligence agency amo be some underground investigative work and mo compile a report a documentary now before that no na yen mu dia say election Ghana for adwen dia besi dia ekoso anti committee US EIA no e report no beto on and aban ehu say bibia asem na dui no abede amanse nyina ehu was sa report no ye no video e o Al Jazeera e o CNN and BBC ya aban na agent so beti committee amoma hwehwe you know, it is an day, but the man may be can able who said, South Committee, we need a Juma Bayano, and yeah, dear Besway in his says, or membership of the committee now. Not just institutions now, EIA, any Nipa de Duana, Omujidi said, Omunya, Omwejuma, Emanan Semfata, and as a Mumpo, Omunim Hubi, and as a Mokrano, Omunya on Fastuano. Some institutions here now, ye Nipa Free Muse, Omonkoti Committee. And it's over Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, NIPA 2 and a free hall, and Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Benito Usubio, and a chair committee. Thomas Anko Yi, NIPA Bako, a free forestry commission, and Omo School, Yadete, Omo forestry, a Yibako, as a free hall, and Omoko Yi, GRA, customs, and Omo Yi Bako be of free civil society, any business community. The Osha committee now, apart from your free business community, and your free civil society now, they were drawn from the same institutions that were alleged to be complicit in the illegal Rosewood trade. And I remember, so said the EIA report, government officials, forestry officials, and officials of the MPP, ruling MPP party, were being issued permits in spite of the ban. And that they were in collaboration with their Chinese business partners, which was fueling the illegal Rosewood trade. And how do you go and put together a committee that is lopsided, represented by people from the same entity, sir? You say, Omona, in your ransom way, air cost. But they make us a committee, no, Minji Dewo, Omoframe, Manko, but Omodo report in the Bayano. Many report, no. Now, social report now, first recommendation, first finding, no, and the committee did not find adequate evidence to suggest that government officials were engaged in acts of corruption. But second finding, no, Omoka said they had uncovered acts of corruption along the value chain of the species. But let me said the entire committee no entity and your say the separate and say. First of all, no, they were drawn from the very same institution. So you could not have expected that the deputy minister or the representative from Forest Commission, they would do any work that would indict the institutions that they are drawn from. Secondly, there were two very important key pieces of information. And Mimigidi said if they had considered that, the findings would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the EIA, as far as my sources are concerned, were not invited. They didn't come to present what I would describe as better and better particulars. And I joined from a investigative report by a journalist known as Joseph Opoku Gakpo.
Mm-hmm.
Gakpo too was not invited. How do you expect to find evidence when you have not invited those entities that we know have the information to allow for the committee to have gotten to the bottom of this issue? And that is why Mema concluded that from the onset, the committee was set up to cover up and to exonerate any public and party officials who were engaged in this ongoing illegal rosewood trade. And as we speak to you now, and now they are still cutting the trees.
I see. And beyond this, there ain't one apart from CDU and Como saying because I mean committee report now and from Subia and Diana.
Oh, signing now I can hold a Dika a day, Massam called down special prosecutor. So Mekaya. Mikra made the Massam called down special prosecutor and son a bankra in the committee. Eti me me special prosecutor nim o so hwe mrana e wo ho ado ye adwuma na enye se bibi o ha betumi esi ne kwan e na ono so no megidi se oti ahye ye pa se tansem na ya ye dia betudwa Joy FM documentary no so edika ka ho asem Ghana for do na enim de ekoso in terms of this illegality no megidi se ade a obeye ho adwuma ma yetumi hu omo ta akiri ele party for omo faros would ho edi abuild omo campaign war chest no ejiri say ye betumi endumu edu asukọ edu echire enti media me de masem akwata special prosecutor because na me ejiri say obey adwuma no amana so Ghana po eni.
Oh, okay. And how far with it? No so of course any update on it?
Oh, my auntie, say work has begun on my petition. Last year, I am around August, and I've been calling within the same month. I buy a in the committee. No,
okay.
It's the Matisse Juma Air Cosso, and I make it to say on all the Obenyamre. I invite EIA and Joy FM and OBDRA for evidence to help get to the bottom of this issue.
Okay, all right. You're seeing a better that's an honorable Yamin Papa.
No,
yeah, that's the Honorable Dr. Clement Apaki, Mrashibe Junior Jamaya, Bulsa South. So, Rosewood in Yahoo and Comona, ye DA or age media, you see. Adrian channel 0503721744, 0503721744. Feel free now, fire. Wajin channel be a Fabrano P. Or Yan Koma Hudwa, ye DA no. Now, one here from. I believe from Nungwa says President Nado and his able Vice President Dr. Bawumia are fulfilling the promises they made to Ghanaians. Hashtag for more to do more. That is one here from Abele from Nungwa. The NDC candidate John Dramani Mahama, you have disgracefully and shamefully involved yourself in the alleged corruption and the bribery scandal in the Airbus saga. But instead of you coming out to clear your name, to redeem your image, you are rather moving around and beating the war drums. That's Boating from Denmark. Rainbow from Kaswa says a political party who could not even put just a single measure in place to solve Galamsey now has the effrontery to waste money to organize a press conference on Galamsey. They have rather exhibited their incompetence to all Ghanaians. That's one from Rainbow from Kaswa. We thank Sami Jemfi for exposing the government big time on this Galamsey issue and their corruption attitude. And again, tell them we are still demanding for our excavators. So Tom, that is one from Meshak Asante from Abusokai. Teacher Kujo from Tepa and Yenetusu says NDC. The NDC people are really confused and dazed by the performance of the NPP. Instead of coming out with policy messages, the NDC is engaging in frivolous and meaningless press conferences. That's teacher Kujo from Tepa and Yenetusu. Need 100 points na Ghana Montie Jumedi Sunu Asuogwe. Yeah, to asu ne akwe ni mi agin semni bi ewa ye de bankrate no. Akosia.
But that's all Ghanaian Times mukrata fa to so me nsa ho. Na wo kire se eja akwakoto won mu etete ba bi ti sa aboabo Dagomba line. Eno wa asante mantemu. Na wo kire se sa adihye ya wo motete we wo moti kumase mfimfini pe aboabo Dagomba line ho no. Dodo na wo mote ho no ene nipa bebro ahanum 500 sese wo munya ba bi mfo muti anto na o chese wo no metete wo no dodo no ano omo efre omo ayi potes na se kaya yefo wo mo pa ene sei wo mo ho akire wo mo na wo chese ye nuadan ene o mabobo de ane efre no squatters no nuadan ko a no mabobo wo ho ene gya to ho a ahye na se de asi ahye no se wani.
Okay, so I'm looking at the front page of the new Crusading Guide now. Down was the ECNDC voters register row. Austin Game offers to mediate. And Yakwa Manosu na yani Austin Game Edin Koma semi die the bankrata. And I saw it on the front page of one of the papers too, as well. Baby Dihun Koma, I think it's a daily graphic or something of that sort. I'll check that one. But Chairman for Game and Co-ADR Center is Mr. Austin Game. So let's get on the line and speak to him. Good morning, Mr. Game.
Morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm very well, and thanks for your time this morning. Right, so we're reading front pages of the newspapers have it that your center has actually offered to mediate this NDC's voters register, ECNDC voters register row. Can you tell us more about it? What the center plans to do exactly?
Well, thank you. Well, you and I have become aware that it appears the EC and NDC and its allies have come to the end of their junction. They are unable to move forward any longer. And so we're taking notice of the fact that these things can lead to something else. That's something else we don't know yet. But we are no strangers to what has happened in other African and West African countries. Sorry. As a result, we haven't knowing who we are professional mediators. We are not just anybody. And so we want to help them solve the problem. We don't need 1 week, we don't need 2 weeks, we don't need 1 month. We need just 2 days of their time to have a pre-mediation meeting with them in the morning and in the afternoon with the other party. The next day we meet both sides, maximum 3 hours. We should be able to help them. If they are, the condition is that are they ready and willing to resolve their differences? Do they have differences? If they have differences, we want to help them resolve it. And we have the capacity for it. That's all we want to do.
Okay. Now, the news story actually says that I've written to them, and just as you've indicated in your submission. So when did you write to them as the AC and the NDC?
Last week, precisely last week, Wednesday, Thursday or so, I think Wednesday.
Okay.
We wrote to all of them. We've suggested to them 24th of this month to have the pre-mediation meeting, to try and do pre-meeting. And the next day, 25th, we can have the plenary session, and we would take care of everything.
It means that it comes at no cost. Nobody's going to pay for it. You're doing it on gratis? Is that what it is?
Yeah, if there's a problem in this country, I don't know where I will carry my 15 grandchildren along to. So it's more an investment to support them, resolve the differences. No cost to state, no cost to nobody. And it's a part of our social corporate responsibility.
Okay. I imagine they've acknowledged receipt of these letters that you've written to them.
Well, like I said, we just give it to them not too long. But I have sent messages to them, and I'm looking forward to them. They have very little choice to say no. If they say no, well, I have done my part. If there is problem, everybody will vindicate us.
What do you think? What do you
do?
Okay.
We'll help them. We are professionals. We'll guide them to resolve their differences. It's not only this is not the only assignment for both of them. They have a lot of relationship matters between them. NDC will need the UC will need the NDC and all the allies. Everybody in this country is a stakeholder in the success story of UC. Maybe people don't know the professional meaning of what it is to be a to do mediation. That's why maybe there can be any doubt or whatever. But this is the way to go. When we sit with them, I don't think more than 2 hours it will be resolved if they want a solution. That's it.
You indicated that they have very little choice to say no. Why do you say so, and why do you think they have very little choice?
And maybe you answer it better. Are you a stakeholder in the matter of UC? Are you one of the voters in the country?
Yes, I do vote. I vote myself.
Yes, so you have a stake. Everybody has a stake. We all have an interest in what UC does. Not just interest. We have interest in the success of UC, not failure. And we have success in the story of everybody in this country. And so our interest is to help them resolve the difference, because as we sit here right now, there is a huge gulf between the two parties. This person says no. This person says yes. We want to help them bridge the gap. We want to help them talk, because they are not even talking. They are imposing on each other something. We want to prevent that as much as we can. That's what we want to do.
Okay. This impression, I mean, you didn't write to the MPP, did you?
Yeah, we gave them copies.
Okay. So are they also invited to the...
We gave all the former presidents, we gave all the people who matter in this country, including the press release we have given out.
Okay. And would MPP also be a party to the ADR?
They have interest in the matter, but they are not complete. They are not I heard and have read that they support
the new voter register.
Yeah, so you see talking to me at the end of the day. Actually, you see is the one who matter. Any other person who is talking from a stakeholder point of view. Once the matter is resolved, it's resolved. It covers everybody. Well,
I mean, you are the professional. I mean, that's what you've done this for so many years. I mean, where I'm sitting, I'm just imagining, because from conversations that I've gone on so far, it seems to me that each of them has, taken an entrenched position. So I imagine this is going to be really tough. Or how do you see it?
Well, nothing is simpler. But some things are simple. We are not going to take more than, like I said, first day pre-meeting with UC will not take more than 2 hours. Pre-meeting with NDC and its allies will not take more than 2 hours. Meeting them jointly will not take more than 2 hours. We are professionals. We are not talking shop mediators. We know what to do.
My final question. So if this does not come on, how do you feel? I mean, if the parties do not accept it, how do you feel?
I have done my beef. All the people we have copied, including your station.
Will you be disappointed?
You then have a question to ask them. Mr. Game and his company has offered to help you mediate. You have denied it. Now there is this problem. What else? Is it me again? I've done my part.
Will you be disappointed?
I will never be disappointed. I'm a professional mediator. I know what to do. And that's exactly what I've done. I've written to them. I've given them full disclosure of what stand is. I've given them everything. I don't have your email address. I could have sent. I didn't just. It's not just a press release.
Okay.
We send them a written document, both sides, and everybody. I don't have your email address. I would have sent it to you. So the real thing is that everybody who has received a copy of the press release directly through our email or something has our write up.
Okay.
So we are very clear in our mind what we want to do.
Thank you very much indeed this morning for your time, and Godspeed in what you've said to do.
God bless you.
Right. That's Mr. Austin Game. Well, no, and where opini chairman my Gami and Co ADR Center. Akosia.
Yo.
Okay, so Ghanaian Times they can.
Ghanaian Times they can want some. Or the Ora Austin Game Vonina Babetua. Or say or no, Game and Co. Alternative Dispute Resolution ADR Center. Wama yoma dwen se womo edo mo ho asiho e ma abato komisa ene political parties a womo se womo ntiase ma abato komisa entro din foforo no etu womo tena se na womo ye professionals no womo tena se na se womo ekeka ne omasi ani a wonom gidi se ntiase be ye adwuma so womo ye professionals womo ni womo adwuma onum de womo be ya ebe ma obi atiase ana se be ma ntiase aye adwuma ewo afane mienu nte political parties ene abato komisa no Ora Austin Game, ono ena ye chairman e de ma center no. Nti na anu fiada, ena ode krata EPA abonten say. Wo hwe animu se February da etoso aduonu ena 24th February. Wo mo betena se na waye ntemgina ni na one ni kuo no enwa asem na meken waye ntemginafo na wo mo atotototo ano wo ma tietie nsem na afa ye hwe afane mienu nyina de obi aka na wo mu ana ehe na wo se edisi dia he na baboa Ghanafo na wo matimi asi na ni nyina no ene wo mo che so wo matro krata de akwa political parties no wo matro krata e de akwa abato komisa ekuo a wo mo se wo mo de abato nwoma no mo mpe no wo mo mpe foforo no eye apronfo wo mo so matro bi e de akwa wo mo enti wo mo ntiase ni nyina no ene wo mo ehwe wo mo kire se wo mo hia ebretintin bia we na fua ba mienu be ombetimi ahwe na o maka asem no enti wo masa church krata ni bi e de akwa aman panimfo dada a wonom ewo ho ene empanimfo o mo ka bia ewom no wone o mo nyina edidi nkita ho ama sesi ai de wo mo hwe ani mu se brere be so na wo mo ebeba wo mo ba no betena se o mo gidi pa se asomdue ebekọ na kwesi nkomo na woni Owura Game edi no ena kwesi nsembisa ni bi ewo ho ewo da obakrata nim dada ebi wo ho nso a na wo bisa ebisa baby a kwesi ebisa ne se nkrata na wa church krata de akwa obia na MPP wantro bia ma o na so mi de bia akwa wonom nso ewom se omo de omo nya against enso so ye de krata ne bi akwa omo na ye gidi se omo nyina be pene so na kwesi na so omo ampene so obede no si se wo ma ampene so a wo ye nsentweroni wonim de ekoso ehọ no meme ya professional nti me de me professional sam na ye adwuma na mbom ye fra omo na omo ama na ye tena se na se asam no ye ntimi anka ansi a ene ese nyina ye wa ha obi abefa no adwene yenim de ebeye na sade wo omo ensam kan ye ene sade nneoma esi kọ no Ghana ha ye nyina yenim de ye hwehwe se bibisi a meme wo ba me wo nananom bibisi a nya de ye asomdue no nti ene ye tue hu esi wo se wo mo hwe ama asomdue aba enipa mienu entem enti nkomane fani bi eno no ena ne Ghanaian Times the obokrata ede ensem ni bi aba
mirasa akosia mesa ba no ato aso bad ma memfa ye messages ni bi nso wa hanum sia edi akotene ma memfa kakra mfantwam ni anko yenim Farouk Ewatema say President Akufo-Addo has shown full commitment in fighting this galamsey menace. Let's stay vigilant and continue to expose all corrupt officials who have been compromised. Sami Jemfi and NDC can continue to sing all the propaganda songs they want. That's one from Farouk from Tema. Fusaini Salifu Kaswa Zongo says instead of Mr. Mahama and his NDC to come out with a contrary view to what NPP government is telling Ghanaians, they are rather coming out with a bunch of insults and still a package of propaganda. That is Fusaini Salifu. And one here from Koku Mauli. Nani okay, Kokumauli, right? Let me just the other one can says please for the information of the government official speaking on the Galamsey matter. It's actually an MP, not government official. Says Professor Frimpong Boateng admitted on the joy that over 500 excavators are missing. It is not the opposition that made that figure up. Argument further is that if government through Professor Frimpong Boateng admit to only about 500 excavators, there's 400 more that government must account for as the 2020 budget captured as a total number of seized excavators. And I'm sure you also heard me read that report on my Joe Online. That was published, I think, on 29th January 2020. It clearly indicates that the professor didn't say that. Anyway, but let's get on. Raymond from Achimota says, if you have incompetent MPs all responding to lawyer Sami Jemfi, then it tells you they are all out to just lie like Honorable Collins Usomankwa just did. That is one from Raymond from Achimota. Kobe from Pokrasi says it is massive fraud and corruption that has buried NPP government to the extent that Dr. Baumia and their communication officers can't say anything relevant again. That's Kobe from Pokrasi. Shiftman from Atonsu Kumasi says this president has done very well and deserves another 4 more years to do more. I can only hope and pray that the constituencies would not do things that would affect our chances of winning the 2020 elections in the first round. That's Shiftman from Atonsu Kumasi. And to one here from Charles Nyame from Asamanka, says the Galamsey menace is getting more serious than you can imagine. As we speak, top NPP officials are doing it at Kobreso in the West Achim municipality under tight security protection by macho men and operatives from national security, and no one dare goes near them to make calls. Take pictures or videos there. Okay, you take pictures. Okay, well, if you have pictures and videos, what you say, I'm sure you can just send it. Shaggy from Nima says, quickly, after NDC's River Milo conference or Galamsey, the MPP held a meeting as to how to defend and asked their corrupt supporters not to discuss it on radio, rather divert their attention. That's one here from Shaggy from Nima. Neat 100.9 Ghana Montier Suno Asiogwe. And I pay that so good.
The work of Yaman Woman so Ejiji Tonton Sansain, I will need 100.9 FM.
Utie oha extra punk no. Needs FM.
Hey, catch it. Listen in here. And you ma beto to dia me baba no ho ade no. Hwem so betumi a. Hey, asew. Hey, now beka. Ya John to mami ensa duku portmanteau. This way chocolate drink. Na kan wo hwe afibian so beri ni waware ni a. This way chocolate drink. Na kan sia. Oh, asew. We dan klanu to mu ho. Me be mu anu so hye kura de aka ho. Wo hwe de wepi ho. O ka sa batete e da fo mo.
This way chocolate drink.
Catch up a baba worry.
Aso.
Ye fear say this way chocolate drink, ya sorry, no pa no ne nom. Ye bishop fridge nom no snack. Ye nya hoho anu ne de serve wo mo. Ye didi wie ne ye pe bibia bogu ya de so a. This way chocolate drink ne ye nom. And this way no ti anu a, he se kire wom, koko wom, brick wom, bibia wom, ade wo hia ni so hye.
This way chocolate drink.
De wo hia ani so hye.
FDA ahwe se adwede nkratoe mo agye atum se eye.
Yamenwe ejaba boni di adwa ma wubi eti yamenu afa hin na mahwie fufuo ti ase dada menya wofo yi papa so ba fie ni anwie fufuo ya asam aba na so oben wadi fufuo edi mpreni ne mpresa da ko beye de ni ehwe fufuo a akode wonwane
adwa mo adwuma se me ne fie adwuma de mini fufuo kakra ba o medie no ene wato me twama da pasa aso wo kan na matire nyira
wati ate na make am meboa
ebo de odi komum na sese ade obra to otwa fufuo ai won wodwo pam na wo ma siu na wotimu aba na wo sadade na wo timfra kwade ne nyina to otwa make say ya need food sadaroma wo bia mani ye pa ya wa ya mbode fufuo ne mankan fufuo a wine powder wo de gu da kama ya ye fra no need fufuo a
eni no bi na masori ba until is kama me di ye yo
sese bia
mama hwe oh bia need fufuo eye kama say bode fufuo ne mankan fufuo papa bi na wo kan say twan eposim na ede na me so kan so ento simanu mpɛ no wawie no ahie wo kwa papa bi aguso
be chese de ama mani kura agye sa ne fufuo ho ama me koto bi kura ba ne se se de Ghana fo si pom fufuo no eno an wo ye no enti sa wo hwa fufuo won pam wo drom ne we no a wo ho susuna bi awom wo so de body na mankani fufuo papa bi
eje nie eni afi na fufuo na afi na wo bedi pa ne se de wo bedi ne se ne wo fa mogyaduro ana pa wi ane anajo a wo koda
need fufura supermarket bi am need fufura e wo wufi a ani gye nko a
FDA ahwehwɛ sɛ adwadie nkratoe mu agye atom sɛ ɛyɛ
Utie oha ekchi ponkno. Needs FM.
Ghana Montie. Ghana Montie. Ghana Montie. Ghana Montie.
all the sampa
Bo.
kasia bo go akata wonsa amaya se kasia waje
Onye yimu. Nukratrodo. Kamagine bo. Mama yentie. Kosi ABOAGYE 100.9.
kwesi bonkwe
Yeah, Twaso. I go see Anope say Ghanaian Times. Yeah, my favorite paper. Anope now. I'm looking at this Ghanaian Times report on the front page. It has almost I think 2 accident stories. What I'm saying. The big one actually, a front page of Ghanaian Times. I say 9 die, 51 injured in fatal crash. Yeah, and I see Muntaka Banda and Banda MP survived road accident near Konongo. Now, Middle page 5 for your Ghanaian Times. Yeah. There's a story there. It says Egypt confirms coronavirus case, the first in Africa. Yes, this is Egypt.
Say ba if you don't know me who if you don't know say me mendano. And na me who say Egypt na akwa cancer say you coronavirus ni ebia ebibrem ha say no ne o man edi kan ya ebia koso enza me kai say Morocco nom Egypt nom any African countries no enyom no mudi kan koso sa o mon crofo free ho a omo airlines nyina kro omo say omo ma ne nko ho
Yeah.
Enti ene so omo amukofa omo no bi na enya bia omo de akoyi.
Well, I don't know. Reading the report, it does not say that. I don't. But whatever it is, CC the first African country, according to the news report, no, just omo enyebi.
Yeah, some ade na hu. And I say enkrofo esu so omo say omo renew omo yi. Na me ka say na eba be kan wa ha say kra ma me hwe wa ha say.
Yeah.
Graphic mu. What was say students in Wuhan renew plea for evacuation. It's no so another do the kwesi kwabra na men kenkan na oba na ahwe no so se do ma say renew no. Sure.
Yanko na yene nana ya akwada or executive director ma ya public Bureau of Public Safety yene no eni nkomo say enhwemu fiti be January day de kan copy me December day twato 2019 bureau no ayenhwemu in terms of public safety the on report the aba yenko di hu nkomo kaka na da se mo akwa baba ni TFM so
esumejemo so me tia mo
TFM so nana so hwemu 2019 January copy me December meboa
enokre
na ogbo no tofa ya yenye bi nkan ye no san anatie ya beka na ye behu enisu no ene say
yomidase mame mbo no tofa ma sasa no pay ashi radio stations and TV stations do na twin
metiase
ne di kan no ye hwe incident sa report ne ye hwe niema makomakum du ewo kromo ha a edi nsusuaso ahodoɔ ebre omanma ebi safety security and welfare yehu say ufa transportation related events adodoɔ na ye ka akwanhyia no a eno na ekumu nipa bebree yie ewo krom ha afia etwam no eno so na epra nipa bebree yie afia abetwam no ema ye hwehwe mu hu say Ghana ya kwan so and the most dangerous place to be in this country today. Yet you no see Kenya, you share a woody sem ekosu okromo ha. And also a number 2 and also a di wo bebre and nam can you report me say that the leading violent crime amount for a timu akutini ya just amount for a yen ye and me can some yen ye just say they are applying themselves in pan. Murder cases and manslaughter. Nipe kunkum. And bribia and also ebe to Japan and no nama for and in tea and so the police for ebe to susa a big yaso may temp. Besides, says we share January to June, any July to December now, and also across by almost 34%. There's a woman share Sumasi a Kumunipano, Omania, and Modin. So could be a yen more. And a post for as a woman, sorry, no page of no Duman, one more tin. Yet also me a general incident, as a various incidents, I can't boom. I don't know to mean fine set transport, and I say violence, and I say crime, and I say police casualty, police brutality, several disturbance in the association. A grouping in our friend general. And on the general incidents, no, yes, we are here who say a drowning, to say, sure, Buffalo being you be a to will be, and no, any drowning, electrocution, building collapse, and then move. Tanya may any mining pitfall, that I'm saying we a goony passo, and no, near ma, who didn't in our boomer, and also the second leading cause of accidental deaths in this country. Internal reports and the Tofana and the details need them say offer reports now.
Okay. Okay, about I think 34% of murder and manslaughter. Say also July honum saying first half no a course ropa no. Dear na beka say muhwehwe mu no ebede di say ma peja ni musa no.
You mean that me said that criminology there. Now so me basis kakra minimum nature say the psychology of a criminal no. When me say ade a wo ye no. O hwe the chances say dan ya me kwakubu mpoma ewremu chances say ebeti me thing. O we the chances no who say the chances say ebeti me no eswa obekọ no akobu. And no near they can say criminals over time will come hano. I ain't who say the chances of they getting away with such crimes, murder cases in Yaman. I was so no one would could grow no more day. It's also send me yen and ne. A tab swimming in me and son. Yen son come here, my family went. And Brano. These statistics will continue to go up until say recommendations I am post for female any affair chummy on Beshanom D2 and a more on Beshanom D2 and a more. But also Cabium said the Charter Acordine Parliamentary Committee on Defense and Interior, the Eco Vice President Office, the big core IGP Nankasan Soho, a bium. And yes, I think ya you say na yes we are junior ye one ye the two name yes I say murder cases no sra na efroko na the police for any clue yen ye wo suggestions ye de be ma wo betimi aso ahwe e be ye adwuma na omamu for wo ye wo adwuma bia wasom ndwo no bi na nya tokwa nipa no hu se no womra e wo krom ha na mra ne hyem sa e be fa won kwa kopem se mimi so mewu no emra no betata me a kopem se mi so mewu fi atase kwa asase so
Ansana major wekoi transportation related deaths ni ya ka ho na me hwe Ghanaian Times na kwakobom 9 die 51 injured in fatal crash over the weekend. Crimes no mrashe be for me no crimes on the road accidents in the car ho so no so no dear future because I know say fana bia road safety commission in the car abai no so e born home dia na o man e born home odin but still just say ya kwan so say na o see came report ya dey say no no bia fa ye number one killer more or less e wo man ma baby anya safe cry to be just Ghana for ya kwan so.
You mean that say abra yeshia road safety authority our report so mo de nsem bi to dwa me enu omo ya adwene yi esan say last year yes year bibi te say sa to dwa mo kire say nhwehwemu bi a aba be to dwa kire say ye krom ha a back time make tour less than 5% of motorists comply in the case so yi cars or ha anam kwan so a emum pena the car say aha you cut 30 kilometers over cut 30 aha you come bro 100 on come bro 100 emum pe in this idea so last year you did to jack I say the best station in the capital Meet FM police for any road safety authority ebehwe na the laws regulating speed e wo krom ha ebehwe ne dia yedwuma nko e bitumi active statistics now afibia by over 2,000 deaths. We can reduce it by more than half. Just a bit new crowd, yeah, by 500. I see a crowd. Sir, confirms our position that we've held more than 2-3 years ago. So speeding, if it is handled, that is a critical aspect to reducing the statistics. Indeed. 3 E's I Canada. Enforcement and engineering. All those efforts must be targeted at killing the speed. Once we do that, we will have the statistics. As I said, we will not be talking 2,000 deaths and 915 casualties. The best station in the capital.
Okay. All right. Nana, I'm going to see the BC. I see you in shop.
Yes, madam.
Nana ya kwada ya executive director my Bureau of Public Safety so Ghana ya kwan so na CCR no obi kan omo hwehwe mu wamo January to December 2019 ya kwan and a very dangerous part say one who ya least mistake abetimi ewu Ghana kwan so enye bi am fan say am robber bi obo fi ana bibie ba bebu aba but ya kwan so very dangerous according to omo hwehwe mu 2019 akozia
enti kwesi eja Egypt coronavirus no makenkan ti de o cheche ne se soafo a wo hwe apomuden ho nsam e wo Egypt Khalid Mugahid e no o che se efiada no e no mu hu ye na ade no se de esi nipa na onya onye Egypt ni na wo twam ba bi kropa wo firi a wo ba no kra no wo man hye danka wo twam nti ase screening na ye screen no e no mu hu se wo bi ene se si ai de no akwakɔhye baabi a kyese wo mo hwa se agya nyame be ya adom omo na se de mpanimfo ka ne se yesi ayi de wo mbenya ayi na vaccines age se 18 months kwasi ne ebi wo mo 18 months pa na kyese bosome afini bosome nsia ene wo mo betimi anya ayi ne bi na daily graphic de krata fe to so dunsia no o se asuafo a wo mo ewo Wuhan Hubei eno Hubei province wono na hinkro ni Wuhan no eno o chese asuafo mu sua de wo ho no o ma tro krata de abrega na aban na krata na enie wo mo chese sesei ye ka ensuo aduane enuoma bi a ye de boye ho bra asan firi wo mo ho wo mo hyedem a sesi ani de omunim de ombe ye bio o mo bubu nkonta ya de afre no coronavirus a ya to ni din COVID-19 enipa maako apem ni ahansia na akum wo mo na omo krata no ni statement na omo de bae na ye page ni maako enson a ewra ne nsahase ye Sakimatu Isaka School of Environmental Studies China University of Geosciences Wuhan wase na kuma nyina bubu na adwiri mu nyina ya ne kesene na sede ne husi ya no ne krata ya wo twode abrampanimfo no sese wo mo da so hyedem aduane ombedie wo mapomuden ho nsam neoma ne akade bi sese wukọ China na obi ba gbase ade bibia ma obi akata na no ye wo mo de hye wo hwene no ne ye de akata no wo mo kire sese de wo ho ne nyina asa sade no ntimi fa nhyeda bia saa wo sha na ye fia e wo so yito na asa de wo mo be yusu edem ho ne nyina no asa enyoma ne akade a sefata betimi abo wo mo ho ban no ebi ni ho aduane a wo bedi ama o manya ahoden de atena se no ebi ni ho ensu a wo mo benom ama o manya energy ahoden ama o motimi de akeka o mo ho no wo mo nsu o mo hyede mo nom nyina no asa na wɔn te sɛ World Health Organization wɔn hyehyɛ ya ahodoɔ wɔn de agu apono so etiara Isaka say wɔsra ban no say the minority ka ɛne Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention for kano wɔn sere United States of America, France for Japan, Australia, Morocco, Mauritania ɛne aman ahodoɔ abɛsesa wɔn nkurɔfoɔ nyinaa de afiri wɔ han hɔ Ghana nko de yabu ani agu so na de wɔn ka ne sɛ na no wɔn te hɔ a yɛsi aban si atwa sika ɛde ato hɔ a wɔde ɛba bɛboa na $250,000 ɛne yɛsi ɛde abrɛ China Ghana na musini ɔwɔ China sɛ wɔn fa mo a wɔn na kwesi ara ho sɛm ne sɛ wɔn ɛde sika na kɔmɔ wɔn nyɛ ready sɛ wɔn bɛ kɔmpa akɔtɔ adeɛ no de akɔ akɔma wɔn obi anya na dwe sɛ obetu ne ho asi hɔ na wakɔ akɔtɔ adeɛ nsuo ne aduane de akɔ akɔma wɔn wɔ wɔn dɛm ɔmo suro ɛwura ne saa na ɛwura ne ka enti sɛ ne saa adeɛ a sɛ store so kora ɛwɔ Wuhan hɔ no yatotum ɔmo tɔn adeɛ so kora na ɔmo nsuo ne ɔmo aduane nyinaa asa enti adenti ɔmo foforo na ɔmo paakyɛ onu adenti na Ghana yɛmfa aduane yɛmfa nsuo ɛnneɛma ne akade ebehia wɔn no yɛmwa no na yɛmfa ɛnhye pomfri Ghana ha sei ɛne yɛbɛtimi ɔmo yɛ 400 yɛbɛtimi de agu plane mu ne yɛde akɔ akɔma wɔn mu ɛne saa deɛ yɛkɔ a ne yɛde ama wɔn sɛ gya ɔmo kɔ mbɛhyehyɛ ɔmo ho na ɔmo de adeɛ na ama ɔmo na aso ɔmo ato ɔmo agye mu so ɔmo nkonkowu na Mr Corona saa na ɛsɛ ɔmo frɛ Mr Corona sɛ Mr Corona ɛmɛkye ɔmo deɛ ɛne deɛ ɛnhwɛ baabi a enti ɔmo srɛ sɛ nsuo ni hɔ aduane ni hɔ sika yɛse yɛmfa mmra bɛbɔ ɔmo ho bra obi anya na dwe so obepie enti Ghana yɛne ayɛn ship bi mfa mmra ɔmo kwesi nti we yɛ ensɛm ɔmo to de amane aban no ɛno no
na ɛyi gizzard upe
ew mepe na no de me kenkan ne de kwesi ama yɛse manum ato bi wo bi hye me fridge no mu ahwe ya minti me wie gise me to twene
all right so
kwesi ɛno ade to ha na me kenkan na me si buei na wo hwe wie yɛ ba yɛ na ho ano ɔden
story online and can saying and it says 2 companies under investigation for importing infested gizzard. Chief executives of 2 food import companies are being investigated by the Bureau of National Investigation (BNI) for importing 4 40-footer containers of salmonella infested gizzard into the country. Veterinary officials said they were able to impound one of the containers, but 3 others, which can feed millions of people, have already been cleared and already on the market. The containers, which have been marked as contaminated, were imported from Brazil into the country in 2019. Officials of the Veterinary Service Directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, MOFA, however, impounded the containers shortly on arrival at the Tema port, following a tip-off by the Brazilian authorities. But importers of the product managed to clear 3 of them and started selling to the general public. And I quote, out of the 4 containers, 3 have been cleared, and we did a trace back and found out that indeed the importers have taken out 3 containers and sold the unwholesome product to the general public. Dr. Siedu Ba told Joy News. Agosha. I said me.
Yo. We uko internet abefo internet iso e woso. Wasi chief executives food importers mienu adwumakuo mienu empanimfo omoda no ye omo nhwehwemu BNI for na nhwehwemu no anopai se ware ayi a tobo ase wo da tobo nyanwe ye nso atobo ase na tie nsem yiye wasi 4 footer containers yi bia makomako enan wo mo edi gizzard de Ghana hakwesi yere pa omo de bi ye kebab nom ne keka ka ho ye stew nom ne ene ye kase ye bona mpese etimi tese ye no ane sa na de nkyene pro kra atimire na wo mo kire sa 40 footer ye makomako nan wo mo kra free Brazil ene wo mo de abepie mu wo manyimu na ye se Brazil for de krata na aba sa enam na wo mo de aba no enye se Ghana for ye bere enye kwesi abeti aka sa apro
so I'm saying
say no dia pra na be pro say de eye nam dia be kasa asai ana pro na omo kire say sa container 9 no abra a omo saka krata na omo eba omo say container 9 ni nyina ba beduru eye port na emu miensa de yeyi miensa na yeyi no ya fiti ase ton ma Ghana fo nti aka ba ko pe na wo port wo
send the court market that I
could long time ago
yeah
2019 and 2019 ya twam ya se kwa kwesisi erabu so miensa mu no enche bia ye erabu so miensa
bronya kra bia bi ni ebi di twa o manu why we get that
say me can come see ye maribia na
why we get that
grofo obi ebiso na maribia na yo na ensam no kwaso a kire say officials and ampanimfo a wonom eye adwuma e veterinary service directorate e Ministry of Food and Agriculture ena wo mo akwako hu sa container ba ko no na wonim se kwesi ensam no ke wukin kan o se ebedu ye no mo hu yo enso so ampanimfo na wo da adwuma na no timi managiye eyi miensa management omo manage ye no wo mo we he wo mo na yi ma wo mo e ma wo mo de miensa ni nyina akoye e na sa veterinary for no so no mo ye de adenti no mo chesa a wo man kwa a wo ma me ahwe na nyina gu ye mu wo eti se tre ne de ya ton ba ko no na aka enti no e na mpanimfo so mo ye hwehwemu a wo mo BNI for mo ahu ya pe no mo di mika ko ba BNI for amane BNI for ba ya wo mo ba behwe na aka container ne ba ko eti se si ai de wo mo gu so hwe ekwan mo fa so nya permit ekwan mo fa so eyi container miensa ni nyina pi abonten saa ene ho nsenkan nyina gya ye hwe anim wo ma me yare enambone buronyi enti we so ye nsam a etwa gu ano ayeden aye hu so
na ayi asem no ukenkan mu ewrem kakra isan say okay so the authorities of Brazil ebo Ghana for amane so kiwa company we omaba befa eye gizzard if Brazil na nuboni bi afra enye ade a say amanfo di na ade ne bedu temaport na ya hwe ya na ni omu yi container
enu ti na make us okay kan drum finfi wo se veterinary fo no e say wo mo ebedru ye na omu hu ye enti no omu ye dai omu se ebedru ye na
enti sisi na omu atwen ade na ko
akwa abonte am ya wie
wo mo se omu track na ya we gizzard no enti sisi na omu se yan dai
show tie kwesi wo hwa was officials of the veterinary service directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, however, impounded the containers shortly on arrival at the Tema port. Enti eyeden omutimi de koye hwom sa ya hunu ho hye kra ena miensa na ba me awie nti nke wu anke nyina ya wuwo because by all means me gidi si yarebi
Mamenko doctor Esiedu Ba a director of veterinary services Ministry of Health and is it no Food and Agriculture, sorry, Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Yes, yene doc ni komokra doc yeda se mo akwa baba ni TFM so anope
medase
na boko de
yesu adom
story yedi hu enkomo ya da online ni about 40 footer container by 9 years companies be cry gizzard see be miensa chese memfa nse enye anse si yedi na pie wodwase enchechemu no pa ne sen asem ne sen na ehu
yo masa so ase na me mintia wo watie fo
na josudo
ani say yo ho na Brazilian embassy on treat attaché no ocho o aleti ense ko ku bia import 4 containers 4 pita containers a container no contain gizzard contaminated
okay
contaminated you know yen recall of the fence the containers
anti-contaminated nature say ense si edi wo
enye na bacteria fence salmonella na a contaminate sa
the best station in the capital
inti quickly ne call port authority so and ya let on say oh asema ya chini inti be say the fence ye be hwe ana o say oh enukure on your manifest on enukure 4 containers ship di by ni sin now so no ɔmo di kan bɛyi mu mmiɛnsa a baako kora ɔmo yɛ ho adwuma a ɔmo bɛyɛ dɛn ɔmo bɛyi adwuma ka yɛate ɛne ɛmo ana meka kyerɛ sɛ okay ɔmo di tee no saa yi no enti no quickly ɛna yɛkɔɔ company si hɔ yɛkɔpa a wɔntwɛ yɛkɔɛ no yɛkaa ne atwerɛ ho nti no ɛtim sɛ ɛsɛ deɛ ɔnhu yɛn sɛ yɛbɔ wo sɛ deɛ nyɛ because na ade no a yɛyi ate ne kakra nti mekɔtoo sɛbe nkɔlaa na ɛwɔ hɔ ɛna ɔmo sɛ ɔmo bɔɔ sɛ kɔ baabi ne nneɛma ɛne yɛfrɛ baako ne kasaeɛ sɛ sɛnsɛnsɛ ne ayɛ na yɛfrɛ na sɛ ɔmo yɛ wholesale nti no baabi kora a ayi no ɛnam ne kɔ no ɔnkɛnkyerɛ na yɛnkɔ ne yɛnkɔgyegye nam no papa na mmua yɛn up to date saa afei no ɔmbɛba nnɛ a ɛne I don't know me office a ɔwɔ port no ɛdi ɔwɔ akyiraa afei na bɛmu guyɛ nti yɛn nyinaa wei nyinaa yɛ nam so ma minister asɔte na kasa no ne yam masa saa asɛm wei nyinaa no sɛka yɛn no this time nke ɛma yɛn ɛdɛn ɛkɔ inspect products of animal origin a ɛkraba Ghana ha ɛsaa asɛm wei nyinaa yɛnkensi yɛyi afi port no mu nti yɛnkɔ hɔ nti for the past time a yɛnkɔ no ɛdɛm a ɛba nyinaa yɛni control
why na yi mu fi hɔ
the whole thing is there was a system called this joint inspection management information na aban pɛ sɛ nnipa bebree ɛyɛ yi ɛkɔ port hɔ na delay ɛyi
inspection ana clearing
inspection ana clear on the clear man but in their wisdom no always say yɛne FDA for ɛna ɛnkɔyɛ yi no nanso master ɔmo yɛ die fi saa yi no eti sɛ container yi ba yɛ hu
ba FDA for no wɔ hɔ
no ni mu deɛ ɛde na woni mu ɛmoa ho and we are the sole authority mandated by OIE any organization we are in the no veterinary are responsible for animals and products of animal origin. What you say? And the own home frame. It's your name. And this is your main idea. If I let you in, Miss Kwani only pa, then I'm we were OIE, I said WHO counterpart. Oh,
OIE near then?
A French organization of international epizootic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I don't know. Every day, all you see what bulletin. Say, Uganda, Manugus Munasa. But Yadi, China, Yadi, Edimamo, Mamu Importo, Bibi and Frio, no Wakasa, as you wait since the internet. I have those information.
Okay. Doc, could you say last year time being a year Brazilian authority for no mama so it's okay.
But I can't give you the
by 2019 maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have 5 years there. Okay, but what you know, you know, your clan, your ministers know, or you know, allow na yemfa fencing a cocoa because they want to help the local industry. They say, when you bring your border project, your savannah investment programs, Nina, Eddie Bois, the local fencing, production of fence, port, you know. All my import permit.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Enti container back na no dia no amon clear no eno wa insisia.
And it's port thing. And then you call say you go destroy. And now I want say I want no information. Say you be but there's no the letter to call commissioner or offense steps what sense here BBA so I want say thing. It's the benefit of the doubt. And now who says I need now so important and the cost of destruction and handling.
Enti away that's you mobile destroy na ye any dey
and nyame yadom na bia na fodo ho agimi o want to go for important na oba no ogupitia e fence beauty se wo ayi ho na oh my quite see me for my first go ahead say any sure you know because on a port no is on a discussion side no I shall want it.
Okay. Okay. Na mimbisaw empacho ti 2019 muko companies in ho muka chom say yate say 40 feet container no man fi mu no enti munim emra bia ni ho nhihye ye ni emra bia betimi ahye so kiwa eni e de mo fa mra kwan so say because eni eja mo sa na de
e report is a thing na ya report me no mint me prosecution na mint me bia you know ani de mint me nka ho asem
enti
once about public domain say no them na prosecute that agenda there because we have done the directorate ya ye ya to mu die nyina se bi ko e pese ko even defense
enti ya we giza de me boa say ba now de nam
among for and the no correct
enti uwi sa giza de a enye ya de nsunsuanso na ho ma o
nsunsuanso pa de especially in colony the aged on when you pano and yet fear diarrhea mu kidney and you may be
na bibi wo ha metimi die hu because I say bia me kwa me hu sa giza na me hu so
that be say ayin de say World Bank ababiski attention the state of art laboratory veterinary Accra. And any yes something no the antimicrobial resistance and drug residue in the fence and meat na be our let's say a year fee fence and said ayimu ajiya in is a jofa what is here say na je umunia bibinia krine ya ye na ya test we yin yankubo kwa na ye ya dum na Brazil for aleti enya enka
I see well inti many DHS yasi BN for the majimu
BN for the majimu no you call me say bia yetu amna no mumra na yen ko destroy no anti no say no and no ho na mention
anti companies be no
me pa cho me for undi into just say pa need
oh okay yo ya da see be see say doc na me sure why Dr. Siedu Ban, Director of Veterinary Services, Ministry of Food and Agriculture. I guess you are here now.
Yeah, because minimum I am. Me oh, giza de dem de stew pa. Say me ntimi nwibio. Kopem say omube. Na we kra de asembe ni. Because me wie why? Me the daily guide wie. Na enim ha na o che say afiwe Malu Nabi we birthday awoda shronkon edema komshani kronkron Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam kuma se na omukoya a omukodi na woda kronkron no na mampanya be de akire Dr. Mamudu Bawumia enka ne mampanyi John Dramani Mahama chief imam ene mpanimfo ani ntiri na omo twan wo mo odwumade na se na asama wo ba amane wo daily guide mu anopɛ na wo kire se abra wo mo bo days na wo mo ekwakotena so no na esefata se panyina wo no ne da tijania ano sheik wadudu sise wo no na wo ba be hwe dwumadie no atoto so na ye panyina wo da wo mtijania fo no ano na abra wo mo kwakotena se na bibia ye di kopim se nka ne mampanyi John Dramani Mahama na mampanya be di akire be pie mu ho adai a o mo se so mo man nka ne mampanyi John Dramani Mahama kotena mampanya be di akire nchen a wonye safe enti nka be ya nka e ma ne ntena fom ana ye mpe ba bi foforo e no mo se da bi yesi se de ade ni si ya atwetan no ye ya na mampanya be di akire kire se mo ma ne metena me nchen mo ma ne metena me nchen se o magya akonwa me ensa chief man betena ba akoso mampanya be di akire betena ba akoso na enka ne mampanyi John Dramani Mahama tena ba akoso nenso daily guide ba amane se mpanimfo executives bi omo asante mantem ene MPP amanyoko no sofo azoka ena Alhaji Sani NDC ni mapa asante mantem to omo na no so omo twe dawere no eso so ewi ase no bibia ye kama mo nyina atena ase madwumadie no ekọ so ne yese enkrofo gina ho no mo hwe mu to sa eti no mo nim se bia confusion bi so confusion bi ansi asomdwe nko a ena wo mo twa mfonyini de ato ase ye mpanimfo emienu wo mo apagya wo mo nsa wo mo eye baba de akye nkrofo eti na daily guide e de asem no e ba ya ha sei ena kwesi midi jawo
Midasiano pay neat 100.9 Shuno Ashugwe. Later on this morning, Pinifomi no better say Anita is also a former national women organizer, former national vice chair for the NDC, na Alaji Umar Bodinga, vice chairman for the Eastern Region NPP. Anope Omo coming home. Our Mobeji Brenna, Omacha Dream Warrior, and Semba Kumino Ababe Tuja, or AFD. So neat 100.9 Ghana Montie Shuno Ashugwe. And your comments are still coming in. Saying so. Let me try and just read some before I remember Akwaba. Eric Okono from La Paz says, if care is not taken under the leadership of President Nanado, we'll import common water to drink because Galamsey is still ongoing by these NPP gurus. That's Eric Okono from La Paz. Now, Osemin Kajekum, NPP chairman, Kabul, Afghanistan, says Ghanaian media should help the public. When President Ban Galamsey, what did Sami Jemfi and Co said? That's one here from Osei Minka. Hamdia from Nima, Alaska says, I'm still asking whether former President John Mahama is still in this country because the good people of this country are still waiting for his response on the Airbus saga. That's one from Hamdia. And moving on to this one from Lovely Akosia from Kaswa says, the NDC is making a case out of something you never cared about. Well, it's not their fault. This is all you have to do since you don't have a campaign message. One from Lovely Akosia from Kaswa. And to one here from 1K Bubuashi. It's a government official one. Well, is that your name? It says, I really wished I were to be the president. I now would have asked Peter and Sami Jemfi to receive in my house. That's one from someone from Bubuashi. Mystic in Sawama Dredji says Nanado has failed Ghanaians willfully on the fight against Galamsey. Corruption is virtually in all the sectors because he's running a nepotistic family and friends government. Why should Professor Frimpong Boateng still be at post? That's a question being asked by Mystic from Insawama Dredji. Need 100.9 or page studio Muhammad saying Anita Disoso, former national vice chair for the NDC, former national women organizer NDC Transi Sansuna Alaji Umar Bodinga, vice chairman for NPP Eastern Region. Anita Akwaba.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Na boko egusi. Alaji.
Yes, sir.
Nyama mse.
Adom.
Via boko. Eastern Region as usual. I'm to say. Okay. All right. Anita.
Yes.
Before I back question, I'm say me produce actually be about 2 minutes. Memma sa kwenya no. Na I'm say Kwame Bafo Abronye ensem bi okan ye. I'm say now you di ho nkomo. But I'll say still I'm so person can be kakra. So I'll grant you that 2 minutes na mean you. There na person can be yeah.
Meda ase bebre mechia etiefo nyina na afi so mada former women organizers no from national to constituency na former appointees one paibo yegbo every Friday na afi so mada nyame ase honorable Mutaka ne honorable Ahmed nyame a anka memne de anka ndisefo nke ante asempa timomi yengu so mompae asambi na baya yese yenua ba akoto ene yenua ba ma chipani temo frame me ha na me ka say enya bone na emom time no na ye wrong because yes na both political parties no ema om trust yenua enum na abronye ekasa bebre say yen ndisefo ma no sabio ye tutubotumfo ewa abra eni se okasa sa enti me ba no manfa ne ho anche no nam se na no etwa nsuo senwa so no ba ne eso se me de on peme nkode be peme de nkode be peka na kakra metimi aka ne se krama bi ahomachi no osu wo me fie ani mo me sori kohwe no onyem se na abronye na ahye ne nyinsen te me ka kira bro nya say krama na onyem no won na ahye ne nyinsɛn nti
Adentra.
bi mefa krama
Na se onim se nipa ne krama.
fa ne nko hospital na
Anita.
onye dey na
Anita. Anita. So onim se krama ne nipa ne krama.
Na so de bepe me de anko de bepe krama yi. Na krama no so nyem na dam gate ano na esu ma ahomachi ma na. Nti na wasam ka kira bro nya say krama na onyem no o twɛn no.
Adensi ya na mo pese yakona na.
Debi so pese yakona ohun say well afi so me santi say na me lose ye. Be me na. Me did a national deputy propaganda secretary. My ben national women organizer, my national vice, and my ben or baby no Ghana has our positions when you know, or to me fair moon. Nasa my election and I do cry election one corner ben prince. Nasa man made them home a national vice and Crawford and commission person me organizer. Ya Antoine, me metina ho. Ye bibia we swear one more in. I feel what be general come for ye we and so I'm say I know me go leave. Mo frɛ me wɔ ha kra me ka me se me nkasa me will live for 1 good year. Na mpese nkrofo hu me so mfaso. Nkrofo omunye politicians kra frɛ Anita Adam me se 1 year. Ɛna nyame adom na aso. Ɛna masa start madwuma. Enti so mpese ye kɔ ne saa. Ye be kɔ ne saa. Mem de me bu be ma papa. Ba mempe ade me kyiri ne be ma wo mu oba. Se ye tutu botofo no onya na oye liter woni fia. Ankompe me nkwhwe kra san wo free bunu na de bi oso ogu bunu fo anim ase ba bi ofini nso me nafofo na free ho enti me pese me kire abroanyas ne Ghana fo nyina se be ma wo de one nkrama na dade usu ni mfaso enti on samra back or the ba million times me face in a million times
so we yanka we ya
Debbie enti na Debbie so say was nko de be fa media ko de be fa
ba Anita tie obi funkum anti I mean
ofu because politics is the
Anita me anya na sa
and you catch them say
Debbie
onye din
tie waka
Kenya Japan kra
oba
na
be
esu
kan
Kenya Japan kra na esu onsam so me emra na atu so woma
why
onye na atu because onim politicians ya mankrofo aka say ye ni suban ye mu ye ho ye busua efie ba ko MPP wom CPP wom sanete bebre aware wo mo ho enye bone time no na mo beba be gina se na na oye ye kromfo watutu ni kunu botom NDC fo ma ye kromfo na wonya NDC ni banka wo mpe ewo wabusuo mu anase wo fie enti e basa ye se ba de e be di wa enti abronya krama na su ka ho akwaje na wo
me enfensi
next time brebio na mesan hia
me enfensi
medamasi bebre etiefo medamasi we na nya ntokwa
yo mame nasi ni
ye sure say what
Anita ya Anita ya me dasi ma Alaji akwa babio okay so enra Chrissy NDC amanyuku nsentwefo nhyiemu omode nsentwefo ko River Pra nsuo na no Chief Pra so Central Region honum say Kodnam ho so wo say ono mo friend evidence based press conference na galamsey mo ba ban mu senior mode galamsey no ai say mo akra na mudi mutintimai enti we no enye ten kro mo de mo ko budget no mu budget statement and policy financial policy for 2020 na omofa paragraph 801 modie tintim ho ewo statement no mu mo say 900 excavators okay and I confirm 500 na this na that okay om pam no channel say 900 say 500 say 400 and na mo say much be weapons 2000 and something any ammunitions 4000 and so sa figures na niama na mo de mo nsaka ni nyina no mo ye public exhibition mo display Ghana fo nyina mra mbehwe na etoso mienu na Akufo-Addo aye no co-chair president aye no co-chair of SDG advocates no obi a ade for environment ho na ono na feature entina na ado omo kase bi ono kura no omo resign na nya ade oba resign enti omo kase omo nyinu mfi sa SDG co-chair no omo deny no sustainable development goals yeah SDG co-chair yeah omo nyinu mfi ono say UN I sa di brain of the amano ya nyim fi nsem Alaji minti
yo ne di kameda wasi na mechia etifu a omutie
Ifo Joseph
Neat FM and amudin neat no so enemu ese efata me nuaba me hu no ache me nuaba ani sadi tu di susu me who no ache na I'm very glad say and na ye share wo ha ensem a ewo ho e kire galamsey issue no na me sister Anita di susu Penny galamsey a ye kan me gidi say ye di kan galamsey NDC hebe inheriti galamsey me sister Anita di susu enim say when NDC ewo eso no nya policy ba ko a omudi su say omo fight galamsey me kai one time the former president John Dramani Mahama eba chebi ena oba e be hwe say o see chebi adane galamsey headquarters now by then he is in government and I'm sure say pass Sami Jemfi or contacti Samuel Ofosu Ampofu, the national chairman, any Baba Jamal, uncle, they will advise him not to go to make that press conference or because woman in the real situation ya ba ya beji galamsey ya beji Ghana to me esheye any ekwanya ya fasu yedi estati ekun galamsey minka say MPP under Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo galamsey you are succeeding 100%. But penny wo hwe eniema enhihye ya hihye no this government of Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo ni ya oye no edutwam Nanado government ene ye hu say galamsey no ayeto no illegal mining a ye friend galamsey no edi enya and to be kai Nanado government edu so no ye di bibi eba say ye bounding all galamsey illegal miners no omutu galamsey biji di say odi tu Ghana mayamu nyina obi agitu mu including NDC MPP PPP one political party agitu mu ana mu media anase your friends agitu mu ana ya himfu anase ye communities no omujizu yagitu mu say adwempa aye be fight openi let's go into the advantage bra ye fa your friends no MPP aban under Nana Addo okay. It's not about the only galamsey that time. Ubeti yasi galamsey pitch encrophobia ko tomu omowu. Ena encropho proper any friends ye come ye buy ye ema ye fa. Gala ni pa omu ye mining no. Ye mawo ye nyawo ema wo mu ko training ewo school of mines ewo takwa. They went and they have been trained proper. One wage man a yama womu be license. Not withstand ebin mu ho a omutu illegal 111 omutu illegal mine. Yeto so mienu wo hwe asase asa time no omu afuntum asai no. Abanyi baye on the galamsey a yehihye ye no. Ye di bibi a ye friend re acclamation. And asase amafuntum no say mrawo ho a musiesi go lo and behold me hu ba bia kura dia istin menim ukwache bi na wo hwe say ni omu say no a ye reclaim land no with the help of aban no ba bia ehia say ye be ma wom your friends say abe na ebe kɔ ho a ye ma wom ba bia ye be dua enua ye dua a ewo ho penny these are eniema bia eye ekun a ye nyina edi yenya. Previous time ubeti in Swokito ubeti say Chinese for the BB your friend champagne. So now as I'm speaking, those champagne any near manuina Swati. But I can tell you, say you see your bed jaisa galamsey ekono pe edima abaino otisuna. There's no way we can fight it. And a second lens who share beginning, all political parties, including John Dramani Mahama and NDC, one more accept here say, let's fight galamsey enko. And chair opening. And I be bibia and the former president John Mahama, Oba Pro, pay a friends. he make a statement atakwa. Say, onu oba galamsey ya aban no agent ombema wom abetubi. Na che say u hye enkrofo ekutu pan. Opani in nipa upe leadership a ye wo eniema enan bia ewo. Ye di kan eye truthfulness. Nukredie ne tosu mienu transparent. Ne tosu miensa consistency. And ne tosu enan no how you carry your leadership. Saa nneɛma yi nyinaa wohwɛ ɔmampani Nana-Addo he demonstrated every clear. Ɔka sɛ ɔbɛ make sure sɛ galamsey a amanfoɔ etu no a ɛnyɛ yɛ friends and yɛde wɔn bɛkɔ the modern training a yɛde wɔn bɛkɔ a wɔn bɛkɔ akɔyɛ a yɛbɛ training wɔn a meka sɛ tɔkwa school of mines a ɛdodoɔ ɛkɔyɛ nea ɛtɔ so mmienu yɛde mmara ɛɛba ɛde bɛfa sɛ small scale mining ɔde aba nea ɛtɔ so mmiɛnsa ɛwuwawu amanfoɔ ɛtotɔ pitch no mu no wɔsi ɔba ɛkwan bia ɔbɛ make sure sɛ ɛso ɛbɛti anaasɛ ɛbɛfiri hɔ he have done it nea ɛtɔ so ɛnan ɛyɛ nsuo a yɛnom no anaasɛ nsuo no ɛbɛti kuragye I think ɛbaa yɛ ɛma to the extent ye nsuo no ɛti until this time ɛyɛ sɛ I think relax kakra aba by virtue of nipa amu ka ho no a ɛyɛ community no a ɔmu benefit yɛ ɛne yɛn a yɛwɔ yɛ friends saying adwuma no anasɛ yɛwɔ area hɔ no a yɛhwɛ no any the other political parties especially like NDC the political colors but because of elections. Without this, I think Ghanaians is heading towards a friend. And I'm to say, Sami Jemfi, or can say, or see CDG,
SDGs,
SDG, good, yes, good. Say, young friend, I'm sure minim say, or see the friends say no coin, or the coin, petition, or the coin. I don't think say you know. Ansa na ubeye bibi anase you and anase ubeya na wehu baby a ade no tikane any baby a wo improvement a odi koye I can tell you and enim bra Ghana under John Dramani Mahama any NDC senior ye environment ye kwaye ye nsuo a eti a asay any senior omampani Nana-Addo dankwa Akufo-Addo Ghana fo ni da so ba ko pe a obaye senior ohihye okun ehwe senior niema ekọ wanu opani eno need the sense of judgment I can tell you enya Ghana fo nko enya Ghana in only the country ye two your friends Sagalam say and I say
okay
yes senior man
all right
but you can see a bino your friends. But let me ask you one. Let me way any friends. Meaning say John Dramani Mahama no or your president. Bra or your president, you know. Nasa galam say ye ewo. When Timmy and Yashi, there's no single law. And that's what they buy. Na say so see. Your bar, young fam man was or bar, a DM party pana John. Ewo obeti me ewo this galam say issue. Odibeba. Penny, the issue about excavator no.
Okay.
Yes, excavators.
Now see for mama.
Let me see for mono. Excavators no. Yes, easy. Yeah, because of one year friends. There's a committee on work. And a chairman no a over hon. And that's a penny or dino no. Was he yes? Near be or why and by virtue of Sanya Mano, Midisha obi asimasi ways on all chasso. Anti when to me account to a bunchino na mumfamra kwanso.
Okay.
I think the government is doing well. As I'm speaking now. Me nimse Kofo I will call Galaway 4 excavators more than 2 years omuchi from Galamsey. Ewo ho ebepimene. And right and ajo
doing well in terms of them.
What say?
In terms of them. We say abino you know government is doing
well compared
because who is in region? Yes, we are so who blame means you are
he's doing well in terms of Nyayaba inheriting here under the Galamsey.
Okay.
And I make canon. Yes, because who per se ube compare Nyama Mienua. Until I will be I see good better. And at the project from the good who call better, then you are heading towards best. But if you made a good and I would call bad, I ever call west. That's what NDC, because MPP benefits under John Ajekum Kufuor. This girl I'm saying Enkahu in Ghana. I'm telling you, take it. Bisa Nkrofo Western region, Bisa Ashanti region, Bisa Eastern region. Now you swallow a crossing. But during John Dramani Mahama, Atamin John Mahama, and Misata, and Omudi say your friends are can't say
Alaji Sagalam, a man for Shasha.
Me see almost in the large quantity.
Mini Wakwetia, me corporate Alaji Miko school Wakwetia, GCD na me Nameti police station, Papa police ni, and the Tigalam say. And Galamsey, and yet,
it's under that time. Tama Uka said, Uktia Quetia, Wamu Galamsey, you know. By then, Aquetia, Wamuko pitch no munya, Wamu gold, I almost see the air bad luck. And I'm what? No, but I'm saying looking for that.
Saturday now, no, we are Galams, Papa coaching Galamsey for.
Yes, and I see they are looking for diamond. But saying ye funtum, Efia Quetia, Aquacopim and Yinem. Aquaboso. Echo area so I almost say that enclave ecopimes swum and your friends and opening under NDC and a buy.
Okay.
There's a lot of them now. I want to say, I'm in charge of your friends and licensing. NDC, well known NDC for a minute. Even Mukraya.
Mamma, I need
your friends and Mahama. Anita, your friends and no. Zongo Kokos. Most of their
Anita, so Galam say ne and Komoya Bay, and not my phone shame, Samijan Fiacasa, on behalf of a mo party, no Senna, Malaji tea, you know, Marco budget statement, no match, and Yama, Mubusa, you're asking questions 900 do, 500 do, 400 do, a day. Okay, with your moon public show, Umagana for you. And Fidian two near ammunitions are most much in Pesia, and sure no so much Ghana for Monshow evidence. Mon say we know a million or more yen in your cacao, but Alaji said they did well comparatively to a more in terms of a fight against Galamsey.
Okay, Medase, na match here for Subim na Alaji Cassa crowd to moon say I could do na minims one way na no fun. And kakra met me, I can say, and this Merino, so Becca, Chebi, a crumon said not 1 month you cry nedding, and Mahama Cope loan be. I think it was between $5 to $7 million, and almost a bow. Now 2016 year campaign, no, with the Yamia Sena Meca team no, into a bill na almost plane. Na yet him sabi a better environment because who for my womb, papa.
Sure.
Na minuya se wo plem na wo so na wo hwe senia ensuo no aye na wo hwe senia wo mutu amana ne sa ne ma na rehu bebre. Emma na na adukuro mu ankasa kra. Eduru merebi na pure water na na nkrofo ye den eno. Ye campaign no ye ko chebi. Nti Galamsey areas nyina se ni JDM kwa wo ka krom se nkola na wo mo ya small scale mining ni obetumi aya abo o mo se wo mo mfa mo a group of about 20 na chese wo ma form association enti no every month wo ska wo be de wo betu enti so mo tu amra ni wi a se sika na ye gi no wo mo ho no ye be refile me pa choti o na me ka ho bi yes
okay.
Because on to me stop but at the same time no a dear measures near the bet to wa a bit me abua and revisit because on go to a dear anywhere ja to us what he has said refele assassin. Oh, I'm saying a bet to it ya crasani I will say informal association near entry be credit bet near to subium and ya boakwa state in a walk room me call school more penny be the me rest more wunim nsuo ene wo mo wall ni yedru okra na nkola bi so adwane afa na wo mo tra nsuo no awura wo mo ye to Galamsey e wo school no e hwa wo mo wall I was shocked me when I'm saying hey what is going on aden enti e basa mo wa agode na niam we ekoso yi
Sabana and fashion share papa and toa, near Nananum Becca be a yadia your money by day. Ebetie, until was sent Nananum, and so ye president in a and this for no so your cabum press a D and ye bet me, ye bet me, I. Galam say, won't I say, Yenia Bema, late Mahama, so Jenny, ye kuni ya. Ebesine, de be almost cocoa to I and Tishi. Na yen shadie. Sami Jenfi baby awo bia no medawase. Oni wo team. Se mutumi call ehonomo. Wa mama kai emra na me deputy propaganda. Me boss fifi court. Evidence base. Na why ade nyame sure wo ne wo team no ntimo nkoso. Se ami nyina be hu anya Sami Jenfi ankam nim se River Pra ni brem ofin ni anko bra nyina asai. Kaminim. Say ni nyina ye den asay afeso ye nyina ye nim se galam se hu Charles Bisiu ene andi owusu ni nkrofo bi wo ho a ye pamo wo mo free because of sa galam se nsensem ya enu achiri ye wo ha na akwa awusi eso nsem ba ya tape yi wo mo leaki ye eno nso ba se de nkwa na wo mo kan na mahamanya government official one. Sata no a vice president. O kasa man kasa. No a vice president. And so mo de one ashe no. Mo de mo nhwe ne e koso. Bibia kra nya mabufu se babia na do free no e ho mom na ade ne kra esemo. Eastern, Central, and Western. When him say Ghana Water Works for ba say sika mu use the refining you know. Say no. Sika na kra kosoro mo. Wo musu ye de esu. Yare na nkrofo yare. Say mu kru ya mo sa kwatwa ntro. Say mo de aniema mu ye ni. Say enti ne ebisa mo ane say mo meye exhibition ni ehu sa aniema na mo se 900 excavators. Me santi no baby say amewu emra no ye minister no. On be kono be 520 excavators awache baby o ha allege yes wono nko agi 20 udru ha we say allege udru but ekwa wusi on de wo hu senye ono nko na obeko
but Professor Frimpong Boatia correct sadian
wa correct me de ne awusi kan ye nti oponfa awusi nkokot oponfa ne nkokot na fa ye ja aka no onfa ne nko de me de meka enya me na me kan ekwa awusi ena ye den ena kan ye yeah, me say o kasa memu ano say officer coming hu mi ache enti enya me na meka ekwa wusi na eka say mo mi ache asese 900 excavators ye damas ye pese ye hu mo say weapons about 270 2779 ye pese ye hu and mo say other mining equipment so bear 4045
yeah
ye pese ye den ye pese ye hu na obi ehu se niema eye den e kosuni na mom se mo ma ye hu na ekire no mo de NDC be kataso a enya ade e be ye adwuma se yesi jojo prof ba wono kra na di mu den se ye no kra se ye boa ye pese uti ha no mi hu ayi video bi na John Buadu driver ayi 40,000 Ghana cedi 400 million e de ma police ni yesi wanye e kire ni yete ya nso waje ye nti krom a Rosewood ya ma asha e China ni ekosi sen ya ma ne ko Chinese fo bebrebe amochi wo mo hen
government committee no amote no say there's nothing bibia
oh that unim nipa de obetimi achanto ba ntumi ntwantro nkire nyankopon enti na say no sabio MPP for mo abon baby on befe bia problem upon problem wo de market ho de bia at least every week bia scandals eba and muro so cry you too because wo de no kre edua wo be fifi no kre enti ene aka ne say omunya exhibition ni ehu sa ne ma we nyina se nsuo me na wo kasa sese obi akra suro so benum tap mu nsuo enti pure water ya ne no na pure water no kre ni ba bia nsuo no sachet once this a baby papa na obehu so omo de ye se nkrofo de afra enti wo num nsuo kra na wo ye den na wusuro and water is life movie amosi ene mahama meka bibi mfa airbus ho na na de enti kromo na marry deal ne ba was I was misled ne enti kromo was I was misled e dia na ekoso wo Flagstaff house ho no a na na do nkwa wo hu ye anansa na na do no eduru ba bia eya na yam obi assign on his behalf ana because na say me hu video bia on the president for me enu di nkomo na garbage na ne nchen president for mienu ne nana do di nko na garbage na ho adan ana wo se ba ne sa mu refi mu ko ye more than 30 years ansa na mo saba ana president ko for the buy afi mu hwe ne ma mo ye sabio yasesa wo wo maami anana na bibi to no a enti ne safe to the 4th generation enti e wo se mo yaden mo dwene na mo hu se ade na ekoso yi sa airbus nsam amaba wate be men na nansem be ka kira wa hasa CNN unsa da na Trump sama you obi anfa plane call Iran plane be call Iran CNN na cover ye hwe ye no MPP government officials and a charter sa plane ho boboba odi market ho boboba sa airbus nsam amuka ye enfa ye ho because unsa nansen soldier fuoi airbus ibako ense yo won say won plane a enya ntu nko baabi a na enwure mu ho a na adase sabe yo mbenya sika no masa order foforo say asenti ye ko han bi hwe unim ade ba ko a meba menua keto aminim ne say se nyame hirawa na wo hirawo se nyame hirawa bibia wodu nsa bewura mu bia na ebe den ebe sen enti sa galamse niama ni nsuo no water is life enti ye ka alaji wodi wo say free state region krankan free okranka nyame ya wodi e kanokra ne ye mane hu say niama bi wo ho a enye hwetie niamu ye no magigi na na do so sa ama fe no ohun ni onka bi hwe me ye obatan wogigi wo baso bebria otwa waso na nse di asofofo kra de o magya akasa Reverend Martin Kasemi enti a Yesu Kristo ye ma ne hine di politics enti oso ompe Roman for Bishop Swaba ye de ye nka hwe obi ayedin edi na mo kan Muslims mpanyimfo ni bi nso ayedin edi na mo kan ya nhye ni ye ebeha wo ba no oye ade na nya tunifo muntu MPP fofo te se ne mutu yefo no na de bia no Bible ami ate ase se akwala wo do no na wo tenetene no enti Ghana fo ye damase se ne na mo de pressure ato NDC so no mu bua ye me ye niam bebre enti se ne Alhaji Free Eastern Region no abetena studio ha no o ka se wo mo de omo under their leadership boni BNC ya yo emre ne beso na se so a obi a bekyere on sa ukra o ka bi se o papa na wusu akra no na etu galam se nso na onim se wo ho na ofie nti nkodi tu me Free State Region no o ka bi a me ntumi nya dai me ntumi nka ena nyame adom o correct ne se wusu nyina na ye dai na ye sa de no na ekoso na nye obi akoto na excavator dan me hu video bi meba wo mo de excavator machine ye de awura obi pick up amunu mu o adan mo mu jiwia na mo masa akofra kire de akoye business adan na mo yesa enti mo nwini security of this country mo nwini ye ho monim se bitterness lead to other things adan na individuals mo treat wo mo sa mo wia na mo ankasa so mo de akoye adwuma afedi amensa nkote ase kwa wusi sade oye sorry kana Japan so na esu ngangai osu se ena po ena ewusi ekwa wusi ayewe ena obi enka hwe ena fan inkosi ha afa na wusu wodi edru baabi a ewutumi ka nokore kakra jamini abema ba ko peye ko ane abom edru baabi a ka nokore kakra nanso wo nokore we di ache enti gina wo nan so se wo nko as MP kura bie mu a gina wo nan so because wo madache ye beka se wo papa ne Kenya Japan okay oye enti munye ni sei na MPP for mamu metu na tie nwu ye ni so nsuo ni nyina na ase ne se enya nsuo enye yensa nkotie krampo a afa de gizzard apro na afa de container 4 ya ton 3 amanaka 1 mo amuye we ya mode e wa Brazil o se hefa ama mu information niama na bedru habo mo hu eye deni aton 3 ya mo san be kunya aka ho asan ma yare aka ho menu abe mama ake enche yɛbɛka sɛ o ɛsɛ ni akata so ba wo ne memblemu wɔ mu nyankopɔn akata wɔ mu ani spiritually nti biribi ɔm bɛyɛ biara no na backfire
me da say Anita my main fire comment ni bi kakra fan twem ni embra na yento our next issue. So now one here from Candy Rain from KWASI says NDC has no iota of truth and dignity left in them. Were they able to solve the issue of Galamsey when they were given 8 years to rule? They should compare the NDC and Mahama time where Galamsey was also on with this time. That's one here from Candy Rain. And to Avocado Constant Kaswa says a whole Eba saga implicated Governor Fisher 1 and his brother directly. And up till now, Governor Fisher 1 is still quiet. The NDC say we shouldn't call names. Yet the so-called excavator saga that has no link directly with Kufuor, the NDC is suddenly calling Kufuor to answer questions. Hypocrites. That's Avocado Constant. Now, Seuku from Misuboy says it's obvious NDC is just desperate for power without any alternative solution to the problem they claim it has. Watson. That's one here from Seuku. Uncle Ebotema says the NDC party needs to be serious a bit. What are they looking for? Power to create loot and share or double salary without thinking outside the box? Uncle Ebo from Tema. Isn't it amazing that those who oppose the ban on Galamsey are now behaving as if they care about the destruction of water and environment? The president has shown great deal of commitment, but honestly, this war must be waged by all patriotic Ghanaians. That's Kwesi Reynolds from Aguna or Dobing. Sending us that one. Tomla from Mancranso says, may God bless the NDC for the modern evidence-based press conference they held yesterday, exposing the ramification of Nanado's failure. He should honorably resign since he has succeeded in wasting billions of cedis in the fake Galamsey fight and can't account for the 900 excavators, gold and weapons. He only ended up intentionally allowing his party and government officials to rather engage in the menace using the same seized excavators and pickups. That is one from Tomla from Mancraso. Sami Buachi Asamanke says Sami Jemfi and NDC should spare us our ears with this irrelevant and needless press conference. What did you do during your time against the fight against Galamsey? That is Sami Buachi sending us that one. Need 100.9 Ghana Montie Sunu Asiogwe. Yeah, to asu yakwe in studio number one pay still. Anita Disoso, former national vice chair for the NDC and former national organizer. Alhaji Umar Bodinga, vice chair for the New Patriotic Party Eastern Region. Na yen to asu na Anita Minsha same few so hanum saying. Ura Austin Game and the company Austin and Co ADR Center and normally about to just new voter register KWASI KWASI electoral commission ejina back was one there kiaki obey voters register NDC and some political parties in so aka said there be brand wom no time ni ne kaka ho ni nyina no emwa enti Austin Garment in the company almost say sani anyamasi aye no omo be boa na nka matimi de mpenfo ana ekuom emienu NDC and its allies na nkoma transi na ma cancel no na asumdue e de aba say na hu no new voters register akwai sementimi ho ase akoso NDC and its allies and the electoral commission
me da si bebre me feel say group no aya there but my advice NDC say hu hia so mo no mbekwa akotena si because eminent leaders ni nyina akotena si ko si hwe ni omo peso omo ya eno omo ye anything register no 7 years ni after January 2012 into Mubekaya after elections no MPP for the year call court be 9 months ye na chasa JDM transfer 3 years 3 months banyankopon hye ni din animonyam enkrofo ko hye ni ema bebre enso obi anyame ehira no na wo hira no sa register yi wona wo sie o say 2016 o de win but per me analysis am here na chere say Yen NDC, see a share year 2012 ni 2016 about 860,000 and ye drop away. But more increase about 450,000. Into a dear nature say 1 million vote difference. Into say 1 million difference in your say na monku. Ya di achamo. A dear na monhu, our register now will know they will buy no. Enya only 7 years. Also was the son. Sa register kreyara ukoye referendum. Akoye what the 6 regions abeka. Sa referendum yara ya di akọ assembly. Assembly nya politics. Enso munya ya na Western region video bi leak ye na MPP panyini no kasa monhwe ne asi assembly ni ye luso weche na afa de MPP for say ne afa kra de ye be hye mo kena sebia ekwan bi MPP for ye be fa so ye be register for no ye be utia obi sian se nkrofo wu na de every second nipa eye den nipa wu register kro ya anka wo de ko a referendum yes and no and ahemfo ne mpanyimfo bebre sorry and ananado oye den wutwam say ye nyina ye wa hanom yenim say Ghana card group om ye Ghana card asemi hu no ba bi om so far about 7 million or 7 and wo mutumi ye den register me ne wo kasa this year so population census e was said no so wo ye den wo mo ye wo wie ya date na wo ma in March no April no yenuanu Muslims fo nso wo mo ye fasting enti no ebe den ebe ha wo mo kakra ana wonim say senya Muslims ko obi a wo ye fasting na wo de wo hu kwoto Nyankopon anim no wontumi nye adigidigidi ana ayi a mo se ye ko register so obi beba be gina ewiem awa abra sabio woni ne Nyankopon edi nkota ho ana wo mo so a complaining a kire wo wo se chinchina ba say me nua be ma me ne woti hey your voters ID card your health insurance well passport well Ghana card enti wonko a wona ma card senko a na hye wo card sen nansi ekotu assembly elections me kotu bi boni bi ansi na bibia kura nkume say wo se registration na ebe ye no enti mfansa say ward way ne o polling station be 10 na cha say ye de a table be 2 na 3 say munyina mo nkosa line mukura mo se mo be Europa ye nkote a mo se 60 countries pe ana mo di Europa ne be ye adwuma monye mema ana monye maso because munim say moye adwuma infrastructure moye saniema we nyina na nkrofo beto amamo ada na musro mu slogan bi hwe wasetena na to abapa eno na nkrofo behwe no ma ye de no ma to aba no hwehwe say one education sector so so na mo ye wo Nyankopon ase wabomudua bibia mo de mo nsa beka bia na asai enti mo nkohia mo prophet fo no a sabio om de bi om so mo na hu Nyankopon no ade na ekoso yi asa wo ba mimi wo ma wo gigi ne so bebria wo sai wo gigi ne so bebria won kasa na obetwa waso enti ne ekoso no enya ade ebeboaye yesi yeso ye doso mo mi enkoto aba mo dia mo si chinchina monye me kai last year John Bodu metie ne voice for one of the radio stations no can say or ho ne friends on fa pen drive mra na download yisi for a dini bibia and this for so omunim ho hwe wono a metie no radio so and this for ni bi e de enti da was akwana sa ni etosu bia se ye wo January ye dura February enche ne e March tambe na mo be start registration no tambe ena tambe no obi be kwakwese ni dinim ene kwa wo register nipa na wo register no obewu because enkwa wo Nyankopon sem ye ka bibia mo se muntie afedi mo na mo se vigilante na de ande aya waso kra mo antumi report no so ba mo ani ho asem bia na menu aba ma bra na champo ena ba bia mo de na koto just mo prepare but me person na me ka kire mo se ne nyame ahyehye no no aye den no ahyehye yem panyimfo yen kan ye ho yem panyimfo ye mandrodo no amowai wo mo tutu kwan na sebio wo mo ni bia wo ma wo ha no ene epesi ye misuse wo mo ye ma wo hen ene epesi ye sankrofo ma adenti because bone be no ma ye sebio omo ye hiafo nti ana na obi a wanya ohia ni ansa na obeye sika ni wawie ye mobo
because ebi kura ntumi nya hwe e ma o ma o janso o mbeton enti ne ye no enya de e be den e be boa yen ye free say ye training nkrofo no wo ma ye se no ma ye se ba me ka hye me nyankopon animonyam say mo anhwe ye mere ne so ankola no o mbe dane aba mo ankasa mo so na ye pese madaga na meba minim say wonim say wiase nyina Ghana e na wo nkro fifia e wiase nyinara na wo pese wo hu nyankopon animonyam wo Ghana wo de kwa brigades na kotena ho be 2 days na hye nyankopon animonyam sani ema ye emwa yen
okay
enti no si ebegya ya yenjai ne enso de enya de a ye ebegya ye be demonstrate ye be kan ye no asem some de amosem be for so ba minim say nyankopon te mere ne so a sani na na do 2012 wo kan say onko review nyankopon de ne nsa kan na akoma sani referendum wase wagya amanaka nyankopon so mfa ne nsa kan na akoma no wonkasa ayeyie manyin ade na wose me say Ghana na me gidimboni me de manu asi
That's Alaji. Mintie we nia Austin Game ni the company the center wa moken sorry the center moken senia ani
ya no mo nhia na nhia so foforo ko en ho ano no
we ntio Alaji
answer that me kosa electoral commission
yeah
sister ba any tadi susu propaganda also studying from propaganda secretary I'm who propaganda bi wa ha oye Ghana for you akwanya bi na mo ma ye explain because and define propaganda say ye di excavator pick up the excavator di so excavator no to pick up mo ye di ko dey be me nkase ye de ko me pa cha ma me correct me say excavator no ye pick up no so ni ese no man kase wo de na ko ada pick up bet me the excavator ko excavator na ese wo de me say sabo wo wie nso a ye research me wie a me hwa me yi so no me yi a kire
me ti so se o mu de ko num
yes o mu de num pick up ne mu ye to so mienu Anita wache a onko is still ready say nia onim the picture o mu jae your friend saying every chebi any eko ubefa pami no wakofa kopim akropon any baby American say ni onimu no they say entisa ya siesie baby mu bra 2016 I'm very glad say o can say John Mahama say tama mu ba ya 2016 mu call rounds no and na mu be man krofo no be reclaim land which means there's no proper document on this now as I'm speaking me see now document now now wo manya hwi ana me ka so nya mo tubu have respect for me have respect for me Jesus say na me respect ma wa please Anita me stubborn no better me respect him ana me ka say sa na you I'm telling you me nti na ma ye obi nti afa no ano no koso opani me ka edi ehye awrade anunyam ukọ aboakwa no NDC former organizer your friend Jimmy babia asase no a NDC for gya ya di eniema eba no obeji abe mi wo hota ma yema no emme seedlings are okodua for reclamation openi let's come to the electoral commission registration openi yedi kan MPP ni bi ni ho a why no who say he's a mouthpiece of electoral commission and I say ye the humbe for electoral commission wo adwuma and I make say who a leader and a political party near you should be a trustworthy leader and a party no mumma ye who say muka no kra nya muka enra no enna ye bisa mo na mo aka mu biom wo kai 2015-2016 election yan yesi voters register no ye de ye hwe a ese ye nsisa voters register NDC satam no omo see edian ye kambra ye kono then the president of Republic of Ghana number 1 chief executive of the country minka say government official one number 1 chief executive of Ghana was yenja electoral commission from ye independent body no omunye wo that's the voice of John Mahama when he was a president and me want voice and video and your kind when you na motie o see o kogyina sentokwa bi ba na election na be your friends and ya yemfa nsoa electoral commission and ya enye obi na odi atoto asem ebaye. These are the consistency ajo mahama on kan kurant na Ghana fo wo bekai ayewaso west wogo entokwa no see ye no osakofa police ni bi awawu adu krom police for esie no amuye mora oyi video ekotre your friends international community say Ghana ayewaso west go na esie please NDC Mami Anita, I know say we a penny e wo mu. Kokatse John Dramani Mahama and NDC. Yani on my bia SCC Ghana. Say on betri Ghana because enam say enyamu na mutu mukra and say muno. Openi. Let's come to electoral commission. A constitution mra and a baki wo manase nyemra. Media mitidi say Ghana electoral commission a mra and a ma wom to me say wo me yeden article 46.
Of course.
Wa mo see wo me yeden independent body. Onipa bia anase ekuo bia eni tumi se odi ni hu be fori wo mo adwuma mu enu na ema when Charlotte say resume as a electoral commissioner okosi san ye logo ayente ase obia ye si logo ide ye nim se Ghana de bibia ye coat of arm wom o si I like it I love it o you su ye nobody has forced her say on si there be near all can no oye no enye. We told her say MNT logo no asi. Anamibwa akwasi. And see what Ghana ha. Does it mean we can't stop them? Openi, the reason I yan say electoral commission register no osisan yani no yadwin. Let's cast ourselves back today. Supreme Court mami anisa so edibaye. Ya court Supreme Court the then electoral commissioner Dr. Aferijan. Je bisa no say register no uma o political parties saying or see 60 million and all account to overhaul mo saying 30 million openi the gap between the 16 and 13 which is which ni etosu mienu openi is never and see what baby say you will get a country where population more than half of the population your friends are registered voters. 20 this register kase your friends say electoral commission besisano. The number population anipa omuwom is 60 million by record. And a 2010 and a year population census. Now you're saying a little over 25 million. That's take is 26. Now when ya na registration ye be ya any population census emu pai population census ya kan akwala ya wunu ekopim a year of infinity ya kan wo munyina if obi kura e ye hoho a ontiga onya gane ya kan population census ya de wom ka ho but register voters register ya waka serious bia you can't take it away. One, onipa kuno must be a Ghanaian, and two, must attain 18 years with a sound mind. Apeni, nasa kakteriano. A person kwala almost from day one akopim 17 years on population in Ghana.
Okay.
Na register no ewo ho. Me wa sure wo kai say. Yenya emrante mienu ba ku de oyekuani. Ni maku NS ni maku a ofi bunsu. Any Abu Ramadan. Wamu kukru electoral commission register no ediko Supreme Court. Say niema bia yes yusu ye register sa 2012 register no a ewo ho no. Entwa ye bakuni National Health Insurance. And the National Health Insurance card. I know the obia oti your mind no utimiji. You can't use that as a basis for a fencing. What we call Supreme Court? Supreme Court rule here Emma wom say ampa electoral commission enkoye. Anna onwa then Afarijan and his friends electoral commission by then. What we see about 600,000.
Charlotte.
No, Charlotte Mumbai.
Okay.
About 600,000 and omugu register no ma yeyi. I'm sorry, it's Charlotte right now. Omubeyi how nipa say no mu. The same register. Yako Supreme Court Aferijan Emma nipa 275,000 and omuye foreign dignitaries are omuye Ghanaians are omu register. Yebisa no with at the Supreme Court you should bring. He's been able to produce only 275 with multiple registration.
Now see for Mama Melaji.
Let me see for Muno Penny. The last one na Mekano. Okay. Say one of the MPs of NDC are of Western region. Then me refinity. Yako just government district assembly election. Ono onu ni din or the voters friends national health card and or register. But okoye ni din that's who register. Openi. These are enyema bia ehihye eye. Na bibisa say NDC any John Dramani Mahama e kura no mo hide in the register. Omum person niema e na make say nya twum no eya dosun e wo John Mahama ni NDC ho. Because when you are a president, we see electoral commission no obi antimi mfa eye mra e na back no. Wabo position afa dey o ka say and say ontimi say bibi ba yen hu say your friends say Openi electoral commission still remain independent.
May that say. Me bana ye for any other issue you want to just touch on Mama Makwenya na mwetimi ewi amame. But messages ni bin so I'm saying positive change from Medina says NDC fought Galamsey. Not a single excavator got missing under NDC. NDC never seized the excavators from Galamsey as to engage in Galamsey themselves. President Akufo-Addo and his appointees should return the missing gold and the flying excavators. That is one here from Positive Change from Medina. Amisco Spelele from Kaswa says fighting Galamsey is a shared responsibility of every Ghanaian. So I'll urge Sami Jemfi and his Abonkele party to stop their propaganda since they can't win election. Call them Abonkele, right? Hawa from Palestine says Sami Jemfi is rushing too much. She must know that this type of lies, radical and barbaric politics can never win an election in this country. That's one from Howard from Palestine. Olanyo in Akwetia says Sami Jemfi and co should tell us the condition of River Pra when NDC was in power. Then we can compare and contrast. The name Galamsey came into existence in NDC's regime. That's not correct. Nana Amponsa Bediako says such opulence. Is it not disheartening listening to Otokono this morning? Just go to the villages and listen to their campaign. They are promising to allow the Galamseyers to do their work should they win. That is one here from Nana Amponsa Bediako. Abdul Basit Zongo Pania Kumasi says, why is the NDC desperate for power like that? Going to the UN to dent the image of Ghana will not help you. And your press conference at the Bank of Water bodies won't help you either. That is one here from Abdul Basit Zongo Pioneer. Uncle Ato from Springton says the free SHS policy implementation by President Akufo-Addo and Bawumia-led government is a well thought out life-changing policy that seeks to eliminate the main barrier to education. Over 800 school projects being built to do away with double track, with state-of-the-art mono desk and chairs. Uncle Ato, I see. I need to help point. Any other issue be I'll touch on. I'll just give you 5 minutes.
Me touch on no ye. Say yisi in sensem ya. Ehu say Ghana eye ba kope. Na ye nuanu MPP fo so hu say wo mani nye di nchen ye. Ba mother Ghana ene ye nyina ye adwene ho. Nti wo mo nwene Ghana ho. Because wo mo anwene Ghana ho a Echinebino, Yankasa 0.9. A mini be beba, one require you're going to be in the Maba Mona must see some more winning by 1 million votes. Munim somewhere ye Juma Papa. Some Crawford Betuama.
I don't know, can I say electoral? Who can it in the electoral commission figures not to almost say.
esie. Omo na esie. Because Charlotte say the system has been tempered. Okay, enye me. Ena me ye den. Ena me ka. Enti no omo ba ye pento kwantini ese pam no twa no. Enye hwe anti se Solomon na ma me no ye den. Ekun ewo ba ho a. Ba ko so die twa no chemu man. Ba ko so se me mpasem. Sa na NDC fo ye se ye mpasem ye mfam wo mu. Mumu ba ye promises am promising nyina. Sen die na maye. Ye can mo say free dey mo constitution man trobi nti mo rule fisa article 25 na ye can say progressive bibia no meba say one to asase a am plan na ofiti anu ati school da mo ba school dan say na mo atimi asi ye free nkrase dey dey enye nipa enne mo hwe school dan a ne ye sisi ye hwe hospitals mo hospital ba ko mo atimi aye dey mo atimi asi 1D 1F mo sorry a wo bi factory wo no asi no makogina nchen say yen ene ye edi pa na matumi aye no okurom ha nipa sen pa na matumi afọ mu nyankopon ena ayi mu say teacher fo bu afumu nurses bu afumu market women bu afumu enkrofo bebre ebu afumu mo ankasa kra mu bu afu ere den ewo mo ti ne me ka kire mo tie neat fm ne say nyankopon emo mo nwen adwempa no mo ye nyina ho ban na ye de ne ye ka ne say Omupo nyankopon edi ahenie no ebema JDM enti na de bi omo sorry ana omo attack JDM obi amomo president to me kasa married I say I was misled na president to me now kasa I was misled edi na chese nkrofo to me sensan ne man function ombetimi asensan de ahye no na say meti ye say oda was there bia ya na obo mpa ye magana mo ga say agro bi ne edi nyankopon ewo wo mo osi wo mo hene ena wo mo fosu kodi hene enye da Nebukadnezar agoro ne edi no Ghana ha wo enti ne me de me ka cha Ghana fo nyina say ye hia mpaibo because nyankopon ma awade na sa wogie a na wie ye airtime na minim sa na na ado wrade mfa ne nsanka na koma na won ka say eye because ba bia ni age du no onye edimpa ema Ghana se munim sa mo ye nwuma a ene amom yankwai register no ode mo ba ye no mo na mo siasa mo weni ye no adenti na mo sesa wo yire pa wo ufi a wo gya no kwafa ne onye ba ana o ka no ma be ka ne o mbe ka enso wo mo tuwe bisase wo mo kromade no wo mo se nanse wo mo primary so mo ye wo do ayi wo mo ebi no mo akwafa wo mo form so mo de kwa na nkrofo na adwane every office na democracy pa na ye democracy enye democracy ye crazy okfa form so bedroom office no obi ani ho eche se mo ankasa mo pick etu so wo mo a onbeba parliament amamo mo ye nyame edi na mo ye mo refi mo ba ye no how many years na mo call wilderness president Kofo ba ye no mo refi edi na mo ye enti mo hwe mo ba kosam na ado ne 4 years a wadi onko na sumdwem no obi so ma adan me de me tu ye nyina for because I say ye nyina tim me ye oba tanti na hia me na me sra rade nso mfa ne nsa enka na ado sani o stop referendum no stop review no yankopon fa na won so ne daye pa because anya say kire bi no edin a ebeba no ebe sei na busua din a wo ma ye nyinara MPP fo nso ba studio chairman of Eastern region me call ho akyede na nso nsam a wakan de chairman dedudu wokwa na wa san kwa ka kire omsa man ka ne se nye yie onsa sa wo ba no oye bone na wo nka ana wo maami ana papa no oye bone na wo nka emiri ne so a ebe kan
okay alaji yempo yeah
Anita bas your friends bas ne de nya ye be kan ho asem openi ye kan basa eye nitie wa mu a Ghana fo nyina ti ye ne say company bi na omu ye aeroplane na company no omu fia brochire ha omu Britain fo omu hu say eniema bi kuko ye baby omu ton aeroplane no na company no ye di British e di omu tu SFO he says ye ne wo your friends BNI no mu na bisa wo me no champa ye di ademude e di maya ansa na ye gi company your friends ye nya contract supply ya sa ne mai na my Ghana. Yes.
Correct no. Emrofo na ma bribe na Ghana na ma bribe.
Oh, me see one ma Ghana bribe. Ah, Mami Anita Tubwe. Propaganda atwam o. Say evidence based your friends.
Omuka infernum so Ghana bribe.
Countries are omudi ademudi say bribe na omu pese me kan chi ademudi no. Ghana ka ho.
Agent na commission.
Ghana ka ho.
Agent.
Ghana ka ho.
Alaji omankasa omo Ghana bribe.
Oh, akwasi jame na me.
No, but you say it for you to Alaji.
Ademudi you see the man no my friends intermediate 1 and 5 and all the comma GO1 ana eno so nya no kure ana country Ghana
no yes sir
elected officer 1 ana onimu ana sa niam no bai enti mini American ni say period I see 2009 and 2015 Ghana president Otiasia no ombra no meyi na anu na nkyere ya nipa omudi seska no dam dia no sanya no kura onka se anya no kura Ghana
na ayira na etu ya na etu ni
eto so
nkyere ba bi efi akosi
Anita di so ejina ho me dia me jama Ghana fo se OPEC MPP any NDC ifo pa no omwo Ghana hu ewo kuma mu omu Ghana fo beto omu hu se omu wotima ma wo we leave it to them NDC now, mommy, Anita is also mommy. So the Ghanaians are yefa Ghanaians say eh 2 sides of coin. Ubejina ho NDC na wajina ha ka say we na MPP aka there bi o. Coin no, the coin no eh 3 sides of coin. So 1 CD any 50 pesos when me go to Anita is also say me person me mount 50 cedis. Na 50 pesos. Na be the akwasi me ba manu. 1 CD me di me sasha friends and me hum Ghanaians omunya aban mienu yi wo mu fa so e na ebehwe ya omunma eco free SHS aban ema wom omu ho wo mu na betwe mfaso a omunya nia mutwa mu national friends teachers training allowance and nursing training ayadi wo mu baye omenya nia yetu mu ye betu unemployment graduate association ayadi napco e baye no ombewa mi si wo mu no ombetre enti anya ni amuti na ho na mu kika se
na atia mo
Anita please
akan sesa
I don't be na sabi wo mu ye yen wo ma yen wo kwan a e wo ha this is a big platform and as we are about more we do in politics please don't disgrace yourself by using those words now nyame na betua won ka is it a proper word Anita please me hu se proper bribri atemu including John Dramani Mahama who share ni statement all ye no and try obi a oya statement I'm telling you why are you so curious etembia yamba to me mam muni to me azu
me alaji na we ya
me kasha radio no nyam se omampani his excellency nanado dankwe onam oti any voter reason oni wo mo kasa na onya magaji American kule presidency because ye ma
3 years. What you bubo reach me 3 years.
And American the people matters are the people within the community.
Me dem me bubo so bubo there.
Me mubo propaganda green book there na wom where physical base. Obi send text message say 800 schools so far. Remember read you don't know.
There be mercy ana.
Mami tubu. And yes I will see school that e wan nwura mo ti say na mo ya please go to the schools. Go to the schools no. National infrastructure lands are ego ho yedi. Openi.
Enti ye frefra.
No nia o ka me see jungle schools na mo see ya mo ka say your friend say mo see
ye frefra kran ye here.
Na wo nim krasi see me.
Me ye krasi.
Jai wo ye krasi ni see me. Jai wasam
dia propaganda. Yes bi wa anga.
Enya was mo see ya mo timi. Please, what the Ghana for 20 am. Aban papa odi empuntuo ani enhihye ye papa ema Ghana fo eja ho
PDS
sese no majai ana school free SHS ni de ana nkwala no
wamunya constitution ewo
munni na me tra hands
constitution
the president of Republic of Ghana and the Commander-in-Chief of Ghana Armed Forces.
I was misled. President or misled.
And the Vice President or Chairman of Economic Management team.
And
the leadership of the party. Leadership of the party. By 20th. Nana Donkwani Onipakwa Oko. Yeah, form manifesto committee. Your friends say for more to do more for Ghana. Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, Alanchra Manti, Literature Nipa Omukevu, Constitution of everything. Your manifesto I did call
Nipa 40.
Okay. All right.
Nipa 40 mo kwachina baba umia kan.
Medasi.
We uta yes and you may say ya. I'm 40 years.
I know.
Wamuti unkache no no munim say ye bia wasi safufu. But nyama uya.
Nyama bena me.
And it's true. Please. Neat FM. Well, a dinu any station you know say. You see Neat FM.
Alaji Yampon. Alaji Oma Bodinga Medasi Papa Samsung aye Anita Disosu. Medasi Anita Disosu, former national vice chair for NDC and what's Alaji Oma Bodinga vice chair for New Patriotic Party and pay Bidampin for us Papa. Okay, so Brasia no bedin kra. Yebeji cause kakre bini asore so na joy. But wait for the newly married fresh couples. Kennedy or say Tracy or say Asante. I mean Shama Mama Wariswa Marepa. Obama